time you come around, you know I can't say no. Every time the sun goes down, I let you take control. I can feel the paradise before my world implodes. And tonight had something wonderful. My bad habits lead to late nights, sitting alone, conversations with a stranger I barely know, swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do. My bad habits lead to white eyes stare into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say. Yeah, I was looking for a way out, now I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, it's true. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. Every pure intention ends when the good times start. Falling over everything to reach the first time spark. It started under neon lights and then it all got dark. I only know how to go too far. My bad habits lead to late nights, sitting alone, conversations with a stranger I barely know, swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do. My bad habits lead to white eyes staring into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say. Yeah, I was looking for a way out, now I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, it's true. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. We took a long way round and burned till the fun ran out. Now my bad habits lead to late nights, sitting alone, conversations with a stranger I barely know, swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do. My bad habits lead to white eyes staring into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say. Yeah, I was looking for a way out, now I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, it's true. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you.
You love Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, everyone. This is State of My Sports, and this is episode 131. We're going to talk about our first undefeated football weekend of the season, which is pretty exciting. The Lions got a tie. Yep, a tie. We're going to celebrate that a little bit.
Celebrate a tie. Yep.
Michigan had a nice road win. Michigan State bounced back nicely to keep everything in front of them. With baseball season officially over, we're going to talk about the hot stove rumors that are all swirling, some signings and trades that the Tigers have made already. They got to take another step in the right direction, so we're hoping that they can, and we're going to talk about how they can do that. That's kind of our goal here. We're going to make our picks against the spread in our Betting Hero segment. Grade our Siciliano's Market Michigan beers. If you're joining us on live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, I mean, we're trying to do as much as we can, different things here. So join us and be part of the conversation. We got the streaming, the comments here, so hopefully we can get some comments. We'll read them and ask us questions, all that good stuff. Also, let us know what you're drinking tonight if you're sipping on anything nice. I'm Sam Waldhart. With me today, we got Ryan Waldhart. We're ready to drink some beer, man.
Yeah. Who else is here?
Just us.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So, I mean, we got a little new setup here, which I feel pretty good about.
Yeah, this is nice. I like it.
And there's different cameras, so I'm trying my best not to get distracted with what's going on over there. So
Yeah.
if I am, Ryan already gave him permission to hit me to get me back on track.
Hit some space bars here and there, and they'll just fade.
Exactly.
Toggle between the cameras.
Before we jump in, I did want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners. The Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Siciliano's Market helps us pick out the best craft beer from the state of Michigan. Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running. And Betting Hero helps you and us get the best. You and us? That didn't sound right. Us and you. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't sound right.
You and we.
You and you're still me. Get the best promotions in the sports betting world. So check out all of our sponsors and let them know that we sent you. Man, how was your week, Ryan?
It was good. It was actually, we laid low quite a bit most weekend, and I don't know. I got back to what I felt like I hadn't been doing in a while. It's just like spend a ton of time with the kids and just played and had a lot of fun.
That's good.
So it's kind of needed time together with the family. Yeah.
No, for sure. We got vacation coming up.
I know.
That's really, what is that? So we leave.
What week?
Is it Sunday? I leave Sunday after Thanksgiving. You leave.
I leave on Friday. Yeah,
man.
Right after the day after Thanksgiving, I will be driving down to Alabama, staying there for 2 nights, and then driving the rest of the way to Florida.
Nice. So we do have one episode before we can officially go on vacation, right?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I was talking to Micah, so we're gonna be gone on Tuesday. So I don't know if we're gonna skip an episode. I think me and Micah should record an episode on Saturday night.
Oh, beforehand?
Yeah, because it's after the Michigan.
We're not
going to
do anything on our phones while we're there, right? That would be too cheesy.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Too difficult.
No editing or anything like that. Right? Exactly. Yeah, we're taking
a vacation.
Yeah, it's a vacation from the podcast too, so we just got to get it out a day early.
Okay.
Or a couple days.
Yeah, I think you guys should do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be right after the last weekend of college, so we're going to have a lot to talk about.
You should talk about all 3 options of like what happened with the Lions. Be like in a win, in a tie, because you got to go there now because they've done it, and then in a loss, and then just the feeling of that, and then you can choose whatever one happens on Sunday while you're flying there and post it.
I almost think they have a better chance of tying another game than winning a game.
Yeah, that's true. You could just cut it down and just say tie and loss.
Exactly. But the rankings just come out. College football, a little bit of a shakeup. I think Oklahoma losing, what were they? I think they were 8th. They were right behind Michigan and Michigan State. I think. And they were the lowest ranked undefeated team for the most part.
Yeah, nobody believed in them, right?
For rightfully so. They think they didn't really have any good wins, and they looked bad in other games, and then they finally got the loss. And I think that's really important for the top of the rankings. So the top 7 didn't change, so it's still Georgia, Bama, Oregon, OSU, Cincinnati, Michigan State. Nothing too crazy to talk about there. It's just kind of, I mean, that was the team that I think we were worried about, because they did have a couple potential big wins still available on their schedule that could have made them jump.
And we know how this works, right? At the end of the year, all undefeated teams in the Power 5 conferences will jump at the end, leapfrog everybody, and then all the teams that are not part of the Power 5 conferences will take a step back at the end.
Yep, I agree with you there. So it'll be interesting to see how so there's 2 weeks left before the conference championships. I mean, everything's in front of Michigan and Michigan State here. I mean, they both got OSU here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of take care of itself. Cincinnati will be interesting. Nothing too crazy. But we were talking about Oregon a little bit before we started. They're actually a 3-point underdog this week at 23 Utah.
I don't get it.
I thought that was a really strange line. Usually when Vegas has something out like that, it changes quick.
Is there
it hasn't? So
is
that's
there
really
like a
interesting.
key injury or COVID response that we're not aware of? Maybe keep your eye on that if you're putting money down on this game.
Yeah, I mean, right here, right now, it's like seems like easy money, right?
Yeah,
I said that with Michigan State against Purdue as well. But I don't know. It will just be interesting. Nothing too crazy happened, so it's not really worth getting into too much of the rankings. It's cool. I mean, this time last year, we didn't have meaningful games for Michigan State, and here we are. Like they're both looking. It feels like both of them have their hand in their everything's still in front of them in a lot of ways.
And I mean, we've tried to do a good job on this podcast about keeping things in perspective, from our feelings going into the season. And this is just another example of that. Like, how cool is this with 2 weeks left that we have 2 top 10 teams in the state of Michigan back to back, right? 6 and 7.
Yeah.
They're awesome. It's just a lot of fun, like too bad State lost to the game against Purdue because I feel like you kind of threw away a big opportunity. But like you said, they really didn't yet because all they have to do is take care of business against Ohio State, which they were going to have to do either way.
Yeah, no, it's true. That loss, it felt like a lot, but it didn't affect a whole lot.
No,
because
it's just a number. It's a number in front of their name at this point.
You take care of business, you're going to get in. Basically, just you had one game to lose, and they lost it. That's basically where it was at, and everything's still there. And then you got Michigan looking in. Obviously sitting here. We'll get into Michigan State. We don't need to get all of our Michigan.
True.
Let's just introduce our beers here.
Yeah.
It is time to introduce our Michigan beers for this episode, but before we do, I want to remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They are simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State University's main campus and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether they know what you want or need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for that. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beers from across our great nation, they are individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. They obviously have a great selection of craft beer. They also have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. Siciliano's Market also has the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and it is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that we sent you.
Ryan, what are you drinking today?
Oh, sorry, I had to unmute myself.
No, you're good.
I am drinking from Cheboygan Brewing Company, Blueberry Cream Ale. And we were talking going into this. Have we done this one before on the podcast or no?
I know we've done a Cheboygan. I think it was a honey one. I don't think we've done their cream ale. We've done a cream ale, but I couldn't tell you which one it was.
So this is a light-bodied ale brewed with lactose, sugar, and fermented over blueberries. Fresh fruit aroma bursts from this deliciously creamy brew, and it definitely holds true to its name. The blueberry is more of like a side flavor. It's in the background with this beer. It's more of the cream flavor, and then it's got the little fruity finish to it, but it's not overpowering. Really good, easy to drink blend. It's 5.6% alcohol and 14 IBUs. So 14 kind of shows you on the lower end of that like strong, beer flavor, I guess.
Very nice. I'm drinking All Seasons Ale, and this is from City Brewing Company, which is in Bay City, Michigan. Where's Bay City?
Bay City is right around the thumb, right?
Is it?
Yeah. So
is it kind of below the thumb?
It's north.
Like below the thumb, but north of doesn't matter.
It's not
right?
in the thumb, but it's like above. It's a little bit north. So if you were in the thumb, but it's on the mainland side.
Gotcha.
That doesn't make any sense.
I gotcha.
Okay, got it.
Nobody's listening anyway, so it doesn't matter. People are just like, just tell us what you're drinking and move on.
Just move on.
They say it's an easy drinking beer that is never out of season. So, it's an ale, very easy to drink. Can't go wrong with ales. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think this is my first one. Yeah, I'm still in the middle of my first one. But let's move on.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
So as I mentioned in the intro, the Detroit Lions did not lose, which is awesome. Nice change of pace here. They went into the They went into the playoff contending Pittsburgh Steelers house and pulled out a nice 16-16 tie. All joking aside, I mean, when we found...
It kind of was a nice 16-16 tie.
It was such a weird game. It was
also terrible, but yeah.
It felt like such a waste of time after I turned it off. I was like, why did I just do that? Like, it just...
I was cracking up. That's the thing. Like, Ari and I sat on the couch and watched the whole game together, and it was a ton of fun. And he just kept asking question after question. At the end, he's looking at me. He's like, "Why are the Lions so bad at kicking?" And I'm just like, "Well,
it's a great question.
You know what? In past years, that's the one position that we could actually say was pretty good, like above average to really, really good."
Well, yeah, I mean,
with Jason Hansen and Prater, we had a good stretch there. And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, buddy. It's just not their year for it."
It was rough watch. I mean, really, when we found out that Big Ben wasn't going to play, it kind of changed some things. I think we went into it being like a guaranteed loss, and then it was like, man, this could be the one, that gets him off the schneid, if you will. Coming off the bye, Jared Goff went 14 of 25 for 114 yards.
And about 113 of those are probably in overtime, right?
That's crazy. With Jamal Williams out again, Swift had 33 carries for 130 yards rushing for a 3.9 average. Jamar Jefferson had 41 yards on 3 carries and the 28-yard touchdown run before getting hurt. And then Igwebuike?
I gotta see it first. I'm trying to find it on the sheet.
He had 56 yards on 2 carries, which included a 42-yard rushing touchdown. Santos missed an extra point and missed a potential game-winning 48-yard field goal in overtime. The defense had 3 takeaways, but really, I mean, just ugly football game.
Yeah,
very, very ugly. I just wish the Lions found a way to win so I could kind of get that winless season out of the way. And here I am as a fan, like feeling like it matters. Like I cannot imagine they probably feel the exact same way.
Well,
need this first win, and then you can just put that behind you, right?
Yeah, because you don't want to be known as the only winless team to not, to just have a tie in there too. Because we've done the 0-16. Okay, so we checked the box for not being 0-17, but how embarrassing would it be to be 0-16-1?
I feel like that'd be more embarrassing than 0-17.
I think so too.
In a lot of ways.
Even 0-16, like looking back at the 2 years, if we do go 0-16-1, like the 1 makes it so much worse than just the 0-16. It's like at least we knew we were bad. We don't even know what we are at this point.
Yeah,
we're just bad who ties games we should win.
It's one of the weirdest games. It's such a weird team to watch. So I mean, let's start with Goff. Fighting some injuries and stuff is never easy, but man, 113 yards.
What was that?
I don't know, man. It's weird. I guess there are rumors that he might not be playing this weekend.
Yeah, I kind of heard that too, and I don't even know. I heard it was a abdominal like side strain or something like that. The pain that he had there. Look, if you're not capable of throwing the ball, then next guy up.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and I don't think David Blau is a good quarterback. I'm not
he's
brainwashed.
2 out of 3 snaps he's taken this year.
Right. But he can throw the ball. He can at least throw the ball down the field,
he's
and
healthy.
It might get picked, and it might be but he's healthy, and that's what he's there for.
Yep. And do you think so? Dan Campbell was on 97 won the ticket. It was either yesterday or today. I guess it doesn't really matter. But like Dan Campbell was asked, like, did you think about pulling him? And he goes, yeah, we thought about it. And they're like, do you wish you did? And he's like, well, I just trusted the doctors and trusted my gut, and it seemed like he was second guessing himself of keeping him in that game.
Well, and I think there might be some things that he was not trying to keep away from people understanding like what was going through his mind, keeping things a little bit secret, close to the chest, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
And probably this is I'm just going to go on a tangent here. This is the way, if I'm putting myself in his shoes, this is the way I would want to see that.
Sorry, Dan Campbell's shoes?
Dan Campbell.
Okay,
if I'm jumping into his mind, this is the way I'd see the game. I would say, okay, the only thing that's going to work either way with quarterback Goff or backup quarterback Blau is going to be the run game.
Yep.
They found something that started working midway through the game. They ran with their 2 tight end set, extra linemen.
The extra lineman thing was crazy
with
to
the
watch.
2 tight ends. Like, they were just out there to block, and that was it. They were not fooling anybody, and the Steelers could not react to it. At that time, at least.
Yeah, they had over 200 yards rushing. That's for people that don't watch every Lions game. That doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And we went on a dominant stretch there where we were rushing the ball 2nd and 12 and getting first downs. We were running the ball 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 and getting first downs. Mm-hmm. And then running some more, and they couldn't do anything. We were just doing the same play left, same play right.
Yeah.
So in his mind, I guarantee he's like, well, at least I have Goff out there. I haven't formally admitted that there's something going on with him, and the defense can't fully commit against it.
Yep.
And that's kind of where my head is at, because maybe they were trying to still decide how much he could throw the ball, or how serious the injury was, and that was probably going on middle of the game when this kind of stretch happened. And then at that point, it's like, what are you going to do? Bring in Blau for the last drive of the game and go lose the game by throwing your first
then
throw.
Everybody's going to question that, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to think about it. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was, but then I'm like going back and I'm like, they were literally like wrapping him in medical tape or whatever, and then taking it off so he could go out in the field. It's like, wait, if he
like, were they heating
he's in that much pain, like that he has to be wrapped for a 3-minute drive around the sideline or whatever. It's like, man, it seemed very odd, and he seemed to almost be second guessing himself in his decision to keep Goff in. It was bad, and
I will say this was also, it's worth noting, Dan Campbell's first game calling plays.
That's a good point. What did you think about that?
Well, he's a self-admitted
coordinator.
Yeah, not X's and O's guy, but rather a leader of men. So
yeah, what did you think?
I like it.
I
like it.
Okay.
I like it because it is holding his own guys accountable.
Yeah.
Exactly what he claimed he would do as head coach coming in. And so if he felt like, look, this is not getting done the way I want it done, I'm going to take over, I'm going to hold you accountable, that you're not doing a good enough job, then it's at least providing the optics to the rest of the team that, like, you know what, this isn't good enough yet. I'm going to step in and say, we're going to change something. We're going to do something different. We're going to do something better. And guess what? They didn't lose. They tied.
Yeah. Do you think it was almost like so he knows what's being said to Goff? Like, it's almost it as much as he put Anthony Lynn on notice and be like, hey, I'm going to take over play calling, he just it almost felt like he was testing Goff a little bit more.
100%.
And being like, look, I know what's being relayed to you now.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if he could hear, like, I don't know how all of the sound
he's the only one.
Stuff works. But like,
there's only one person that gets to talk back and forth with Goff.
Yeah. And I'm curious if that was like his final straw, being like, okay, what's actually really going on? You know what I mean? Like, if he's the one controlling it and making these decisions and specifically saying to Goff X, Y, and Z, and he's not getting X, Y, and Z, he's getting A, B, and C, now he can be like, you are at fault here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're kind of going back and forth. A lot of the sports talk is like, well, you just signed Anthony Lynn's death certificate, basically. Like, he's gone. He's not going to stay. You demoted him and all that stuff. It almost felt like there was more behind that decision.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Anthony Lynn's called a good offensive game by any means, but I also don't think he has much to work with. And I'm really starting to think Goff does not give a crap right now. Like, I feel like he is just done in the NFL. Like, he doesn't even want to be there. It's really strange to see. But he says all the right things. He's a good guy when he's talking and stuff. It's just like, man, it's tough.
Yeah, I'm over him. You guys have known that for a long time at this point. But this season is also not just a lost season in my mind. We're getting a really good draft pick next year.
Yeah.
That's important to me as a fan. We are, from the beginning of the year, we knew we were not going to be good. Now, I went on record and said this is not a winless team. We have too much talent for that. And it's taken a
mock draft stock or no?
I'm game. Number 1 overall. The pick is in.
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
There we go. No, sorry, I cut you off there,
or some of the Michigan Hens, either one, or Jabo.
Right. I did hear a crazy stat that air yards. I guess that's like a really popular thing. He had his average throw was 5 air yards. So that's not even yards. It's, I mean, if you just want to call it a yard,
I think the
round
completions.
down.
I think the completions were like 2 yards an attempt.
It's
downfield.
That's scary, and that's not injury. An injured quarterback can throw the ball 15 yards. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I don't know how structured you want this discussion to be, and then, like in overtime, when we are in good field position, and all we need to do is kind of chip our way a little bit closer. Now he becomes aggressive. Now he throws the ball down the field 13, 15 yards. It's like if you were incapable of throwing the ball 15, 20 yards down the field for the entire game, why are you doing it right now?
Yeah.
Like that hurt us. And then, like they're running these deep routes and stuff, and he's trying to throw a ball 15 yards, and then he gets sacked and fumbled. It's like,
oh my gosh,
what are you doing?
How
check it down. That's the only time people want you to check it down. Move the ball 5, 10, 12 yards at a time at that point.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky's famous for running out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
I feel like Goff's famous for trying a spin move out of right into somebody.
The slowest
the slowest spin into the
sack.
It's so bad. Like,
why
honestly,
does he do that?
If I didn't know any better, and I'm not going to question a guy's like manhood or anything like that. Like, but it almost seems like he's trying to sabotage his team more than help this team. That's honestly how bad it has been. And that's a scary.
No, I agree with you. I don't remember, like, if you watch the game, there are not many times where he steps up into the pocket and then makes a throw. Like, they're all really quick throws, or he starts like kind of rolling right and left and then checking down. But very rarely does he step up into the pocket and throw the ball 10 plus yards down the field. Like, we see that more out of Cade McNamara.
We do, yeah.
Right? I mean, that's not saying a lot because he checks the ball down to, across the middle all the time.
Yep.
But at least, like, to get away from a rush, he understands to move forward. Goff just turns his back and starts running backwards to, like, do this most unathletic spin I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he gets sacked. You're right about that. You're spot on. That move is insanely bad. I can't imagine it being worse.
It's really bad. All right, real quick, I'm going to throw out some numbers here. St. Brown, 4 catches, 61 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 1 target, 0 catches. I think he had 2 holding penalties. There was one of them chop block, maybe. I guess it doesn't matter.
The chop block was called, or it was declined, I guess.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But he had 2 penalties that were accepted, I think, and then another one that was declined, maybe. Is this becoming a growing concern, or is this just what we just talked about with Goff, and he's our one weapon, and it's just not there? Like, what? I don't know what to think about him.
To me, this is on Goff. This game. Well, I mean, you look at the conditions of the game. It was not an easy game to play in.
Yeah.
If Big Ben was out there, it was going to be sloppy for him too. Like, the receivers were fumbling. Everybody was dropping balls left and right.
Yeah.
That was the nature of the game. So let's take a little bit of, like, Hawkinson's 1-2 weeks removed from 8 catches, 9 catches, and a ton of yards. Like, this is not on Hawkinson. This is on the play calling throughout the game, the conditions of the game, and Goff's inability to throw the ball.
Yeah. Josh Reynolds claimed off waivers. He didn't play on Sunday, but should be able to play this weekend. Definitely walks in as our best wide receiver, right? He's not anything to get too excited about, but you look at our leading wide receivers is Khalif Raymond with 363 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, I would not be surprised. Like, let's say Goff either learns how to throw the ball or they move on from him. I could see Reynolds being our leading receiver in both touchdowns and yards by the end of the season. Is that fair? That he's
out of the wide receiver group?
Out of wide receiver group.
I don't think it's out of the
Ross
question.
St. Brown could probably.
Well, it's not out of the question, though. You're right. Yeah.
That's just crazy to think about. Swift had a really good game. Really cool to see him get 130 yards. Nice to see a guy get over 100 yards in Detroit. That doesn't happen often. We should raise a banner or something like that. But Decker came back as well. Made the O-line look better. I love the way that they brought in the extra lineman that we already talked about. But I think both Decker, I mean, he looked a little rusty at times, but really
a few times.
But just solid. Yeah. And I thought Sewell, you didn't notice him. And that's exactly what you want from your right tackle. I thought they both played very well, and that was a sign of what they wanted this to be.
There you go. Surprise, surprise. Penei Sewell goes to the right side, and he looks just as comfortable over there as he does on the left side. The whole, preseason freak out that Penei Sewell was an absolute bust and it was the worst pick ever was just unfounded. It never surprises me. Well, I take it back. It actually always surprises me how quick or how fast fans react the wrong way.
Yeah.
I am a pretty, I'm a big fan of a lot of sports, but I'm pretty reserved in my thoughts because I try to think of things from the real world. Well, look, rookie, this situation, preseason, whatever. He's matched up against the Bears. You got beat inside twice out of the game. Yeah, that happens. people freak out about the dumbest things, and they just like want to draw the biggest conclusions. He looked good on the right side. That was a huge thing to me. I'm really happy to see it, and I think bringing Taylor Decker back to this offensive line only helps it so much more than where this was going with our right tackle out, our center out, our left tackle out, having to move our right to our left.
Yeah.
Like it was getting to a point where this was starting to become a real concern, and this just gives a little bit more stability to that group.
It helps see the vision, and it helps see why you drafted Sewell when you did. Obviously, it didn't look like, you see all these wide receivers going off and, just players that are making more of an impact, but offensive linemen don't make impact, But now when you see the built, and we're still missing a Pro Bowl center, so that's another
top 2-3 in
crazy
football.
thing. Like, this offensive line will make this offense better, and we're starting to see it, and that's exciting to see. And I like that Decker's back. I think he's really important for a guy like Sewell to learn from, to learn how to be a professional.
Yeah. So the day immediately after the game, he went on record and started trashing the Detroit media and did all this stuff. I don't need to get like your full thoughts on it, but I want to tell you my perspective first, because I feel like I think people are trashing him pretty hard for it, and I like where he came from. He was saying more of like, hey guys, look, before you go out and jump all over me, a Detroit guy who's given a bunch of my life and my livelihood to this franchise, and I've gone through some tough years, and I've worked my butt off, and like, I'm really important. He has solidified himself as a top 7 to 10 left tackle in all of football over the last couple of years.
Yep.
That is high praise for the most for the most talented position on the offensive line. He is an upper tier left tackle in the NFL. That's saying a lot.
Yep.
So for us to just move on from him, like Detroit sports wanted, like get him out of there. Penei Sewell is going to be a Hall of Famer. You put him over there and then build somewhere else. Wait, slow your roll a little bit. Taylor Decker adds a lot to this offensive line group. He is very, very good at what he does on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
He's trustworthy. So this is the Darius Slay situation coming right back to us. Are we going to draft Jeffrey Okudah and get rid of Darius Slay and say it's a 1-for-1 trade and we didn't get any better? And in fact, Jeffrey Okudah is not as good as we thought he was, and he's hurt all the time. So now it's a negative. It's minus to the team. That's the same type of situation that we're going to be looking at with this, and I think it was just fine for him to call out the media and say, screw you guys. I am actually really good. I'm valuable to this team, and I've given a lot to this team. You guys throw me aside.
Yeah.
For what? For me doing, having hand issues that I couldn't do anything about.
Yeah. No, I get it, and I do agree with you. I'm okay with him calling out the media for all of that crap. I feel like he did kind of call out fans, and I'm never a fan of that because I don't think you can win. Like, you're never going to win calling out fans. And when I hear that and like all the stuff that the Lions are going through, and I'm sure Decker's sitting there frustrated as all get out for where he's at.
That he can't join the team.
That he can't join. Like, well, not only that, but like, this is going to take some time. This isn't going to be an easy rebuild or anything like that. And I feel like if he's mad at something, like, it could just turn into being like, all right, I'm done. You know what I mean? And it almost felt like closer to the beginning of the end rather than being like, I am for this city, I am this. It was more like, screw you guys, screw your opinions. I'm about to be done here anyways. Like, that's my fear, I guess. I get what you're saying. I'm okay with people saying, yeah, Mike Valenti, you're an idiot for calling out Decker and his hand injury, and you don't know the half of it.
Yeah.
So don't pretend that you do. Like,
that was where that was directed, right?
Yeah, it was definitely at Valenti, I would say.
Not just him. The chorus after him kind of joined in.
Yeah.
But I think it was pointed like at the top towards him.
Yeah, that's the way I felt it. He did say fans, which I don't like.
No,
that.
he didn't. He said a lot of fans and everybody in this building knows what I bring to the table, and they're appreciative of me. Yeah, so he actually said that the fans were on his side, and then he specifically targeted what he was saying to the media.
Okay.
And the part of me, like, I don't disagree with your rationale or anybody's rationale for wanting to move on or even being upset for him saying this, because he's kind of acting like a little bit of a crybaby. I get that. What I really like about it is I share his same disdain of media in general.
Yeah.
And their ability to just forget and like lose logic and reality and whatever they say. And because they were just jumping away. Again, this was like, look at this amazing line that we put together. He has a hand injury. Penei Sewell moves over there and screw him. He's trash.
Yeah.
Trade him. Get rid of him. Whatever. Don't bring him back. Let Penei Sewell do there or stay on the left side. He's like, guys, how can you be so absurd? Like, I will make this line better, and we'll see it that way.
No, I do agree with that. I guess we'll see. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into more. You know what I mean? I hope media doesn't come back and grill him, and it turn into be like, screw you guys, double middle fingers.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a back and forth.
I hope it doesn't turn to that.
And it's really on him to be the bigger man at this point.
Yes,
and I hope he
got it out of his system,
Yes.
and hopefully he can just move on from it.
Yep. You want to cue that?
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
I have a question for you before we jump into Michigan here.
Yeah, what's up?
Did you remove the Pistons and the Red Wings talk from this week because you felt like it would be too long?
I did, yeah. So I didn't think there was enough to really talk about.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of dig into the playoffs a little bit more. Did you have something that you were interested in bringing up for the Pistons?
Well, we could make it short for both. If
You want to do it at the very end?
Yeah, let's
Hold me accountable for it.
At the very end, let's do like a maximum of 2 minutes per team.
All right.
That's it. Just a quick touch on both of them.
That sounds great. Michigan went into Happy Valley and beat the Nittany Lions 21-17 after Eric All scored a 47-yard touchdown with 3 minutes and 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Awesome.
To retake the lead 21-17, which ended up being the final score. The defense kind of finished things off after that. Cade had a solid game going 19 of 29 for 217 yards, but the 3 touchdowns, 2 to Roman Wilson and 1 to All was great to see. Great throws. Obviously, the Eric All one was pretty simple throw, well-designed play, but the 2 throws to Roman Wilson I thought were throws that we're really, really excited to see and need to see heading into the big weeks here coming up. With Corum out, Haskins was a beast with 156 yards on 31 carries, 5-yard average, and an additional 45 yards with 5 catches through the air. The defense led this team once again by beating up Clifford with 7 sacks, led by Hutchinson with 3, Ajabo with 2, and containing Dotson to only 61 yards on 9 catches. Was this a statement victory? No, I don't personally think it was. However, I don't think you can just throw it away because it is going into Happy Valley, and I know people unranked, blah, blah, blah. Well, they were ranked in the AP. So let's keep that, like, if you want to use that as an argument, then be consistent with the AP, and we'll have that conversation.
Historically, this will go down as an AP top 25 team.
Yep, exactly. And when it comes to Harbaugh in his big wins argument, I would consider this closer to a big win than not. That's where I'm at. Where are you at with would you consider that a big win?
I consider that a huge win. Huge win for all the reasons you just said, or really just going into Happy Valley. You know, this is an AP top 25 team. Penn State just a few weeks ago was ranked in the top 3 in the nation, and this was a major test because Penn State's one of those teams that has elite defensive prospects, elite offensive prospects on both sides of the ball. They have a slippery quarterback who you could blame his injury for their first loss against Iowa, right? I mean, if he doesn't get injured, they probably win that game.
They're probably in the top 15.
There you go. And it just makes them look even better and maybe more momentum on their side to pull off another one. Yep. You know, they're a really good team, and they have a lot of talent on their team, and Michigan overcame a lot of issues. They overcame the atmosphere in Happy Valley. They overcame the talent on the other side of the ball, and they showed they were more talented. They were more solid. They could make the big plays when they needed them as opposed to Penn State. They stepped up to the challenge, and I think that, you know, this is, again, the type of game that previous teams would have lost.
Yep, and that's exactly what like. This was a growing up win. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, these are the games that people would kill Harbaugh for losing. They would have destroyed Harbaugh for losing this game. Rightfully so, because the way that it all kind of went down there. But, like, you got to give him credit for bouncing back. Yeah, it was a crazy, 48-yard touchdown run, whatever pass, whatever it was. It was a great play, well-designed, and it sounds like they had it. They were saving that play for a particular time, and they were practicing it. They knew they had it, and, man, and they executed. And look, yeah, if you want to go in the is Penn State the normal Penn State? No, but it's just that doesn't mean anything. And if you're trying to, like, all of the argument is, all right, well, you got to take another step. You got to be better than the Penn States of the world, the Wisconsins of the world, the Michigan States of the world. You got to beat them. You got to be better than, well, not even Michigan State heading into the year, but, like, you got to be better than these teams. Okay, well, we are. Well, they're not as good.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, well, okay.
Well, they have one more loss on the record they should have. Because we beat them.
Which way is it? Yeah. And it's just it's driving me nuts. And here we are, Wisconsin's up in, like, top 15 now.
Yeah, but you're not going to get, like, weeks ago, we don't get any credit for saying that was a good win.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And it's just, it's so frustrating. It's just, it's like politics. I feel like you're not changing anybody's mind, even though how right or wrong they are.
And it's so hard to go in the past and make something right. You going in hindsight and saying, "See, I told you that was a good win," only works at the end of the year. But in the middle of the year, nobody cares because they're worried about the next game. They're worried about what they just saw recently, and they'll say something like, "Well, you didn't even use JJ this week, so they probably would have lost without JJ against Wisconsin." It's like, well, whatever. Like at the time we beat them, okay?
Yeah.
So I think yes, it was a big win. Was it a statement win? It was a statement for them inside the locker room. It was not a statement win across the board to the teams as a whole, like for the rest of the country.
It doesn't.
They're not on notice. It's not like they're going on notice saying like, "Uh-oh, watch out for Michigan." But inside the locker room, that was important. They have to believe in this team. They have to believe in their coaches. They have to believe in the scheme. They have to believe in Harbaugh. They have to believe in themselves.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And I think the defense needs to get a ton of credit, mainly because of the start. I don't want to like go drive by drive or anything, but this is like such a key part of this game. Where all right, so the first drive, Penn State got the ball. I think they got a couple first downs. Fake punt, they got it. Michigan still held them to a field goal. Got through it and held them to a field goal. Long drive.
Fake punt that. I'm sorry, but the dude, number 14 on Michigan, like, he was in the perfect spot. He should have picked it.
I'm so confused of why he's, like, stopped.
He's just, like, looking around like,
weirdest.
What do I do? Where's the ball? He was so confused, and then it just dropped in. Yeah.
Yep.
He was in the perfect spot, though.
He really, yeah. He just got caught looking, and then one step behind. Second drive, so Michigan ended up getting the 3 out. Second drive, Penn State tried a fake field goal, which, I mean, another example of James Franklin being such an idiot coach.
What a dumb play.
Such a stupid play, stupid decision. We don't need to get into that much. But Michigan stopped them. Anyways, there was a point that, like, right after this, I think it was pretty much the first quarter, the majority of the first quarter. Penn State had 36 plays to Michigan's 6 offensive plays. And it was only 3-0.
Yep.
Then Michigan took the ball, went down, took a lead. 7-3, eventually took a 7-6 lead into halftime. When they should not have had a lead in that game.
Yep.
And the defense stood their ground and played an unbelievable half, even though they were moving the ball on them at times.
No, you're right.
Absolutely insane.
You're absolutely right.
It was. I thought a perfect bend and not break defense. At least in that first quarter, they were just containing. They were getting big plays. But then Penn State would get a big play. And I remember like looking over at my dad, and he goes, "Man, they're kind of throwing everything at them these first couple drives, aren't they?" I'm like, "Yeah, I feel like they're desperate. They know that they're not going to have another chance." And that's kind of what happened. Like Michigan kind of suffocated them throughout the rest of the game up until the fourth quarter when things kind of took another turn. But like, man, for 36-6 in offensive plays to start the game, and you ended up with a lead. And a lead heading into halftime, that tells me something. And then the way that everything's kind of turned with the all touchdown and the way that they responded in a very, very tough spot. Everybody expected them to lose that game. Everybody was like, see, told you. And boom, they made the play, the throw, well-designed play. And that dude looked so uncomfortable running, but he made it down.
He's hurt, man.
Yeah, he said his ankle hurt throughout that whole run. But, I mean, I don't know. What did you think of I guess, I don't want to get too much into the game, but like that side of it at least, like, was that as big as I thought it was?
What, the
36-6, just the start
huge.
And holding it.
I'm trying to remember the stat in that game because they brought it up on the broadcast, and it was something about like it was easily the biggest difference in number of plays for any team, any game this year. But I want to say of all time to start a game in the first quarter, 36-6 plays wise. Like you do not get any more a bigger gap than that. Like how do you have a 30 play difference in one quarter?
That's insane. And I mean, that's scary for our offense. Like that's not a comforting thing.
That's a bad position to be in. You're right, though. The defense kept him in. Like, they were the reason they were still in this game at that point.
Yeah, so Haskins, 31 carries, 156 yards, 5 yards per carry, average awesome. I think he had like 46 yards in the first half. And they stuck with it. They kept pounding.
Yep.
And that's one thing that Michigan's done, is they stick to it and they wear out your opponent. And the fact that they were able to do that, again, let's go back to Wisconsin. They did that to Wisconsin. Now they just did it to Penn State. The two most talented teams that they've played. Don't get me wrong. Michigan State is a better team, but talent-wise, they did that to the two most talented teams that they played.
Yeah.
That's eye-opening for me. For the offensive line and the sake of just, we're going to do it. We're going to continue to do it. And that's going to be key. Do I want them to just continue to run the ball and try to beat Ohio State that way? I mean, I don't want that to happen, but it seems like that's their ticket to do it.
Well, but we've seen them, they got, like, let's get into the again, you don't want to go drive by drive, but if we go into the drive where they scored their first touchdown, that was a critical drive with big-time plays. So there was not a first down in the game yet at that point. They got a crossing route to Cornelius Johnson. He kind of went underneath the linebacker and then went around, and there was really good blocking on that play, and it was something for like 16, 20 yards.
Yep.
Big play, and they were deep in their own zone at that point. Then they went and ran the ball a couple of times, big third down conversions. There was a 3rd and 12, I believe, where they threw a screen pass to Hassan Haskins to keep that in their own zone. 3rd and 12, they blitzed, and this was recognition by Cade Cunningham, but not only that, it was a great play call for Josh Gaddis. He threw the screen to the left side. I think it was Eric Rawl or one of the other Sanderstill. Sanderstill was pancaked, put on his back as a blocker out front, and Haskins spun out of that. Remember, he stiff armed, spun, picked up that first down. Those are to me, those are examples of big players making big time plays. And Haskins right now, he's a senior on this team. He's a big time player. He is a gamer, man, and this is who he is. This is not just abnormal for him. This is a standard game for him. If they gave him the ball 30 times every game, he would produce like this every game.
Yeah, and these are Kenneth Walker numbers. They are. He just doesn't have that massive playability that we've seen yet, but he has the pounded out. He doesn't have the. Yeah,
he's slippery.
He is. He's good. And the one thing that I thought was awesome, what did I say? He had 5 catches and 45 yards through the air. That's very, very important because without Corum, you need to know that's still a threat. And if Haskins can do that, 5 catches, decent amount of yards, that's really important for this team, especially if you can't have Corum in as that type of threat.
Yeah,
he can be his own lightning to the thunder that. You know what I mean? Like there's the thunder and lightning, and yeah.
Well, and
he can
in
also
this
be
game,
that lightning too.
What was so great about this game too is he was our safety net. Haskins was the safety net in a slippery game again. Like they didn't want to give it to Donovan Edwards. I feel like it was just too big of a moment for that kind of a true freshman time to come in, and you could rely on Haskins to hold on to the ball, to make all these plays, to be reliable, to make the first downs on a 4th and 2, because later in that same drive, it was 4th and 2. He was stuck behind the line of scrimmage, and he spun out of that first tackle, dove, and then extended his arm.
He scares me a lot when he extends that ball.
Telling you, though,
extends it at such crazy
he's got
time,
a feel for it. He is a true running
good.
back, and he's not necessarily the most explosive. He might not be a Kenneth Walker Jr., but he is a freaking running back, man.
He's close. He's close to that level.
He's maybe like he needs maybe the stop and go ability, but he doesn't do that. He's more slippery. He moves forward. Kenneth Walker will take a little bit more chances.
Yeah,
that's the biggest difference.
No, that's
and maybe
fair.
overall athleticism.
The defensive line is that is our ticket.
It's elite.
It is.
It's the best in the
absolutely
country.
Insane. Ajabo has
he's so
exploded
good
on the scene here, and with Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, that is the thing you can hang your hat on. I'm nervous about this offense. I still am. I don't think anything really changed. Changes my feelings on it. It gets very, very stagnant, and I hate that. And I mean, You play a team with any type of other type of threat. I mean, you're going to get exposed, and that's scary. And I know I keep moving into the Ohio State matchup, and I don't want to do that yet because I do think that's a big win, and that's a win that what are they now, 9-1? Is that what it is?
They're 9-1. They're one win against Maryland from being a 10-win team.
If we said that heading into the season for Michigan, like get rid of the Michigan State. I mean, that's a whole nother story if we said that. But like if we said Michigan was going to have 10 wins or let's say 9 wins or whatever it is, people would be being like, "Oh, you guys are slappy. You guys don't know it."
100%.
I would have said the same thing. Yeah, you're right. I probably
we might have gotten there with like a vote or something, and then turned around and said, "Oops."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how did we get there?
But it's such a fun time. Again, nothing's really changed for me on this team. Very happy with it. They're winning games that they normally wouldn't win.
Yeah, and I think it goes. There's some growing going on. There's some growth that we're physically seeing. There's a safety. I'm blanking on his name. Who's the safety that's been playing really well? Freshman.
Micah, where are you on this one, man?
Yeah.
You're the name guy.
I know, but there's a freshman safety that's been coming in. More. Moore. Anyways,
I believe you.
He's been playing great defense, and he's actually been being the play caller, the signal caller. He's getting it from the coaches and relaying it to the rest of the team as a freshman back there as safety. Like that's a safety net position. That is huge for this secondary. But not only that, we've been able to rely on DJ Turner.
DJ
Turner, number 5, cornerback. And then on the other side, number 4, what's his name?
I'm so bad with the names.
Really? Cornerback number 4? He's been around for forever.
Oh, Jamon Green?
No, Jamon Green's hurt right now.
Yeah, he's hurt.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Jamon Green is hurt.
I don't know. I'm just throwing names out that I
Jamon Green is hurt right now, but we are basically DJ Turner
Mike
came
is
in.
Pissed at us right now.
Yeah, I know.
He's listening. He's like,
DJ Turner came in. I got the numbers. I got the idea.
I got nothing, man.
I can probably rhyme with it, but I can't tell you the name.
Usually I'm 6 beers deep at this point. Talking to Michigan.
But no, like DJ Turner's come in and he shut down the Penn State. Dotson, yeah.
Well, he had 9 catches, but they contained him.
They contained him.
Play.
Yeah,
that's the key. Yep.
And there were big plays on third downs where they threw it up to him, and that's where I'm saying they shut him down. Like they took him out of the game when he was needed most.
Yep.
And let's even go back to the touchdown. Penn State scored the touchdown late in the game to tie it, and then got the 2-point conversion.
So that was to tie it at 14.
Yeah.
And then
we're talking about a stand in the red zone within 5 yards of.
Was that on 4th down?
That was on 4th down.
Yeah.
That was my point. Like the defense stepped up, and then they made a very, very difficult play. They had to make an insane conversion to even get the touchdown on 4th down. And then they repeated themselves with Dotson to make it a perfect pass and a perfect catch.
Yeah.
And that was the way they scored their 2-point conversion. So the defense did not break at that point. They just bent really far, and they're just like, we did everything we could. Sometimes the offense wins out, and that was an example of that.
The offense wants to make plays just as much as you don't want them to make plays.
Exactly.
No, but then obviously the strip sack is something you don't want to see. Then they end up taking the lead, but then the way that Michigan responded is absolutely great to see. It's something that we're not used to. Well, I don't even think that's fair because I don't know. I think Michigan's been better than what people give them credit for. I think people are forgetting what they were. Obviously, last year was absolutely awful for a lot of people and a lot of reasons. If people are going to use Michigan State struggles as a COVID issue, then Michigan can too. Michigan State football too. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on last year that I don't think people realize, and I don't want to hold anybody accountable too much for that. I think Michigan's a lot better than people think. I think they're healthier than they think as a whole program. And look out! I mean, everything's in front of them. I'm really excited to see what they do these next couple weeks. I don't expect anything, but I think they've put themselves in a position that they don't have to beat Ohio State. They don't have to get to the Big Ten championship or anything like that for me to be like, this team has taken a step in the right direction.
Here's what I expect. This is what I expect next week is for them to beat Maryland, and then they're going to be a 10-win team, and they're going to go into Ohio State week with one loss, where Ohio State is one loss, and it's for all the marbles.
Yep.
What kind of opportunity? What other kind of opportunity are you looking for? This is what we want. I don't care if they get blown out by Ohio State. I don't care if we look dumb against them and look silly and their freshman quarterback goes nuts.
Dang good team.
They're a freaking good team with two of the 5 best wide receivers in all of college football on their team, with probably maybe one of the 3 best college running backs on their team in college football with Henderson.
He's definitely starting to show his stuff.
And then
important.
They only have 15 5-stars on their defense. Like they are insane. They're fine. We could not have asked for a better season for Michigan, a better opportunity for Michigan going into these games. And Michigan State, you can't. I mean, same exact thing. Before, you're like begging to
no,
hit
you're
that.
good. I'm just
Vincent Gray,
Gray,
cornerback.
That makes sense.
I'm telling you, you watch Vincent Gray, you watch Jamon Green, how he's playing early in the year. You watch DJ Turner, and then the range that the safeties have with Moten and with Moore. That is our opportunity against Ohio State. They have to play the best games of their life. But they're setting themselves up. They're getting better and better every single week. They go against an elite talent in Dotson, and what do they do? They contain him. They feel good about themselves. They do not let him beat them.
One thing that I think that I want to see more from these guys is the playmaking play. They're very good. They're making plays and like shutting things down, but get that turnover, get the interception, make a game-changing play. That's one thing we're not seeing from the secondary.
The only person we've seen do that is Dax Hill.
Yeah,
and
but he missed
occasion.
A really good opportunity
he did.
Against Penn State to do that,
but
too.
I purposely said all those other players have stepped up, and I left out Dax Hill, their most important player.
Perfect.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. Hot, hot! This is State of My Sports.
I know you moved on, but I haven't. So, also, Aiden Hutchinson, regarded as a top 5 pick at this point in a lot of mock drafts. Ajabo, watch out. He's in the top 10 of a ton of mock drafts.
He's going to,
top 10 from undrafted or top 5 draft.
I wish that he wouldn't, because I want him to come back next year. But
it just shows how good he is.
Let's get into some Michigan State. They responded well by taking an early lead over Maryland, never looking back, and finished to win 40-21. Thorne went 22 of 30 for 287 yards, 4 touchdowns and an interception. 2 touchdowns to Jaden Reed, who had 8 catches for 114 yards and was supported nicely by Mosley and Foster, who each had 52 yards receiving. Walker was great once again with 143 yards on 30 carries for a 4.8 average and 2 touchdowns. The defense, I thought, used creative looks and blitz packages to kind of get a little bit of pressure on Tua's brother. I'm not even going to try to say anything else. But they got 4 sacks on him, then forced 1 interception. Felt better, obviously, but the passing yards still a little bit of a concern heading into the big one here. They allowed Tua's brother to go 29 of 48 for 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. But playing from behind, a lot of those yards will kind of just be garbage. It was just a nice bounce back. It was a nice bounce back from the loss for Purdue, but nothing I saw made me like more or less confident heading into these final 2 games. I think this is, I mean, the template's out there. And look, I don't want to we're going to talk a little bit about this game, but I don't want to, I mean, the template's there. You know how Michigan State can beat Ohio State. You know how they can lose Ohio State. It's all right there in front of you. Nothing changed after this win. Nice to see Thorne, though. He put up some decent numbers without the second threat of Naylor. Mosley seems to be finding his niche in this offense and taking advantage. Niche? I thought it was niche. I thought it was niche.
Noish.
Niche? Niece? Niche? Niece?
Sorry, I threw you off.
No, you did. I was moving too, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to save some
it.
time. He's taken advantage of the opportunity. 4 catches for 52 yards. I I think he's very important to this offense right now. It's not going to be big numbers or anything, but you have to have another threat, and that's kind of his role here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't sound like Naylor's coming back. From what I'm hearing,
it's so sad. It's been the story of his college career. He could have been one of the greats in Michigan State. I really believe that.
That's not good.
Nope, go for it. Yeah, crush it. All the bubbles is terrible. No, but I think this game it was
great. I would have been quicker to just get the camera off me. I'm just not good at that yet.
we have Peyton Thorne in this game looked comfortable again, and I think that's what you saw.
Yep,
you saw him moving around, going right and left out of the pocket, and seeing the field, observing what was going on, and making the right decision on a constant basis. And he's got such great arm talent. I really believe that. And anytime that he's looked off, it's a learning opportunity for him. So the longer this season goes, in my mind, the better he's going to get, because I really believe in his talent. I think he's a pro prospect. Like I really do. I do. Yeah, I think he's got a big enough arm, a live enough arm. He throws a good enough ball where if he can just be consistent like this, tell you put up 2-3 years with these kind of numbers that he's putting up right now. Yeah, you're going to be a big time pro prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and he's athletic enough. He really reminds me of C.J. Stroud, and I know I'm going backwards to a freshman with Ohio State, and they're about to play each other, but that's on purpose. C.J. Stroud has that ability to kind of look relaxed in difficult situations, and I think Peyton Thorne has that same ability. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes it gets away from him. Kenneth Walker bailed him out against Michigan. Peyton Thorne did not win that game for them. He made a couple big plays. He made an amazing throw over the shoulder to Jalen Naylor, Naylor was one of them.
I think it was Naylor,
and then Reed another. But either way, it
wasn't a good game for him.
When he's comfortable, he is elite in my mind. His tools are elite, and I just think that that going into next week, you couldn't have asked for a better warm up.
Yeah, so you mentioned Walker, 143 yards on 30 carries, 4.8 average, 2 touchdowns. I don't think he put up what we expect in that type of game, right?
Yeah.
Nothing really skyrocketed his Heisman status or anything like that, but he's still there. He put up good enough numbers to be just wait, you know what I mean? And the game's in front of him here. The next 2 games, I don't want to we're talking about this Ohio State game as the be-all, end-all. Look out for that Penn State team, too, and especially the way they match up against a Michigan State team. He's got 2 big opportunities these next 2 weeks to really cement himself into possibly the favorite. And I know people are going to get a little high on the Bryce. Is it Bryce Young? Is that his name from Alabama and stuff like that? There's other players out there.
I don't think they've played anybody.
I don't think so either. But you could kind of say the same thing with Michigan State right now.
Here and there.
Yeah. But he's going to be in New York, and he's in games that they don't even need him. He's putting up big numbers, which is cool.
But you're right though. He didn't lose his Heisman hopes. He didn't turn into an absolute favorite because of this game. But what it does is it keeps him relevant going into the biggest game of the year for them, which is the Ohio State game, with what it means at this point in the season. They lost to Purdue. We get that. We can move on.
Yep.
If they beat Ohio State, they are in the driver's seat with this conference going into the Big Ten Conference Championship.
Yep.
And at this point, if they can beat Ohio State, they're very similar on offense to Ohio State. If they can beat them at their own game, and I think they match up super well offensively. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough game, but if they can pull it off, then Michigan fans all over the state are just going to be crying their eyes out because they're going to be like, "Oh no, there goes our chance."
Yeah.
Now even if we beat Ohio State, which is a big if,
we needed something else to happen.
You need Ohio State, or you need Michigan State to lose.
Yeah. It'll be I don't want to talk too much about this game. We're not going to unpack anything that changes our perspective on this team. I'm just really concerned about this pass defense. It continues to be concerned. 350 yards through the air, which I think has a lot to do with the lack of a pass rush without blitzing. Is that fair? I like what Panishuk does. I think he does a good job, but he's not. And I know Michigan State fans will compare him to Aiden Hutchinson. He's not that.
No.
He's put up really good numbers.
Great
But
numbers.
it's also like, it almost seems like a mirage because when they're getting pressure and creating that havoc, it's because of blitz. It's because of creativity. You know what I mean? Not necessarily just one-on-one, we're going to beat you. And that's what's exposing the pass defense.
Well, the problem is Panashuk is alone in his dominance. So when Panashuk is on, he can beat anybody one-on-one for the most part. Like, I don't think he gets as consistent a pressure as Aiden Hutchinson or even Ajabo. I don't think he gets as consistent. Earlier on in the year, he was actually the most consistent.
Yeah, he was.
But the difference is he doesn't have his counterpart on the other side. So what teams have done is they've constantly chipped him from the outside. So then the tackle stays on the inside, so it takes away the inside move. And if they try to go to the outside, they get bumped from the tight end or the wide receiver going out for a pass or the running back.
Yeah.
And that's been the recipe for success to slow this pass rush down because it was so heavily reliant on Panashuk for getting pressure, and it doesn't take away from his greatness. It really doesn't. Like, I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there's a game plan around what they've done, and teams have grown up and woken up to what they can do, and they've been able to work around a little bit of the strength of the Michigan State Sparty defense.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, heading into this, it's like the blueprint's out there for how Michigan State is going to win this game. The blueprint's out there of why they're going to get destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, you can see both sides pretty easily.
I think early momentum is going to be huge in this game against Ohio State.
Yeah, if you can take a lead and suffocate him with Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
Look, Kenneth Walker's going to
100%.
get his. Like, I'm not that impressed with Ohio State's defense. Now, I'm going to say that and be exposed in a couple weeks.
Yeah, because they're going to get
when
8
Michigan and
players
Michigan
drafted
State
in the
both get
first
10
round.
points against them, and it's going to be like 100 to 20 in points ratio. Look, they haven't proven it yet, so that's where I'm just going to sit there and be like, Kenneth Walker, that is the key. But on top of that is Jaden Reed it's the big plays, and Ohio State has proven to allow the big plays, and Michigan State strives on the big plays.
They're really good
and
at
they beat teams on those big plays, and I'm really interested to see how it works. Now, 19-point favorite, 19 points. That is a lot of points.
Yeah.
It
know.
feels like
I don't know.
like it's going to be a 19, 20-point win for Ohio State, or Michigan State is going to win a close one. Like, I don't see a middle ground here.
I think they could. I mean, the close game could always be there, but it's got to be where Michigan State is in this early and takes the lead early and does something to slow down the progress of Ohio State. Ohio State's one of those teams. They've been like this for the last, decade and a half. They are so dangerous all the time. They're like, if you give an inch to them, they're going to take a touchdown.
Yeah.
And once they get one touchdown, then it's like, oh no, how many touchdowns are they going to get this quarter? You know, like we've seen, how many times
Right.
have we seen them score 4 touchdowns in one quarter, in the second quarter, and the
way
game
too
is
many
close. Yeah, the game is like close in the first quarter. We're all pumped about how the game's going from either side, Michigan State or Michigan. And then by halftime, you're losing 35-14.
Yeah, it just happens so
It's like,
quick.
how did that happen?
Yeah.
And they are just elite with their playmakers all the time. They are elite with their play calling all the time. So Michigan State has to be elite on the other side. They have to do something early that's maybe a little unconventional, or take those big shots and hit on them early with Jaden Reed down the field. And then if you're not going Reed, they have their other options. They do. And I like them. But those are like the big plays. What they live by, the reason why those big plays are available is because they've got Kenneth Walker on the inside. They've got him to rely on, and he has to play a lights out game.
They've been setting him up for this game. I mean, like,
Yes.
hey, we're going to give you the ball 30, 33 times. Like, 30 times is like your minimum, and we're going to continue to do it because when the game matters, we're not going to go anywhere else.
And let's be honest, he has played his best game of the entire season when they needed it most against Michigan. They were outclassed by Michigan, and their playmakers won them the game.
Yep.
And I'm not saying outclassed meaning better team, worse team. Like, let's not even get into that
Michigan
argument.
was the better team.
Top to bottom positional groups comparison, yes, except that the running back discrepancy was insane. The wide receiver The wide receivers were just so much better. The talent from the skill
Yep.
positions were that much better. And that has to show through with Kenneth Walker. He has to dominate this game for them to have a chance.
Yep.
Kenneth Walker could have done what he did against Michigan, and they could have lost.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy to think?
That's
right?
insane. They should never lose a game where he goes for 200 plus, five touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he needs to be their most reliable player against Ohio State for them to have any chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think defensively, Michigan State, I mean, is not good. And you'd be an idiot to say that this is how they're going to do it defensively.
Especially through the air.
However, early on, and even against Michigan, the bend did not break mentality. They were very good at that. And if they can hold Ohio State to just a couple field goals instead of touchdowns, that's a key for this game.
Yeah.
Very big key. And on the other side, cashing in and not kicking field goals or making field goals. That's another thing that Michigan State's dealing with right now is who's their kicker. It's gonna be interesting. It is. Now,
Coughlin?
well, I mean, he is. He's back. I think. I have a feeling it was like a suspension or something.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, like just like one of
He
those
should be
quiet
ready.
ones. He did end up playing last week after I think a missed extra point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be important to just cash an opportunity. You cannot miss an opportunity in this type of game against Ohio State.
This is also important where they might be trapped. They might feel like they have to go for a trick play or something to get 7 points early on in this game. If you have an opportunity to score points against Ohio State earlier in the game, in the first half, you take the points.
I agree.
And that's just my thought going into this. I mean, you could even talk about the Lions, like with their extra point. That was the difference of them winning or losing that game.
Yep.
It turned into that, and it was very early on when that happened.
Yeah.
So always take the points in these types of games where in the end you can take your shot, you can try to win it, you can go for a 2-point conversion at the very end if you need to, but take your points early on.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's really important with Michigan State, and why they have been successful against Ohio State in the past and under D'Antonio is like, yeah, we're going in as underdogs, but we're not going to play like we're underdogs. We're going to play like we're there to fight. We're going to win like our way. We're not going to adjust our game just because we're the underdog and we're going to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to panic.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, we're going to stick to it. We're going to do that. I'm curious to see what Mel Tucker is in this type of game. I think he did a great job against Michigan.
I trust him, man.
I trust him too because he did it against Michigan when he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been running the ball.
Yeah.
And he did, and it worked out.
I will say this. I feel like Michigan State has a better chance of out-coaching Ohio State than Michigan does in the next 2 weeks. I think Michigan, their whole season relies on this. That's when you can tighten up, your butt cheeks get tight.
It's also a different rivalry.
It is.
It means different.
It
It
is.
means more. It's.
I think State has the ability to be more free, more willing to just
Okay. That makes more sense.
to play the game
All
of
right.
football the way they need to win.
Yep. Outcoach. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
We don't have to get in that argument.
No, we don't. I don't know. It's. I'm so excited for it. I really am.
So that was our quick intro to college football, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into the episode, right?
Yeah, let's talk about stuff.
No, we got to move. We ready to move into some Tigers talk?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Sounds
let's do
great.
it. Before we get into the main topic of episode 131, I want to remind everyone that I got to clear my throat a second.
That the Hops Brewing Company Cafe is open and pouring some of the best craft beer in West Michigan. Their revamped food menu, rotating taps, wine, and ciders make the Hops perfect for whatever you have going on, from dinner with the family, late night drinks with friends, and everything in between. DeHops is becoming a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. DeHops is the official brewery of State of My Sports for 2021, and if you mention State of My Sports, you will get a nice little discount on your first beer.
I just forgot to turn my mic back on. Well done, I said.
Noob.
Let's get into some Detroit Tigers talk. Now,
Yes.
I'm really excited for this. I wanted to do it last week, but you guys ruled me out. But the Tigers surprised many, including us fans, by going 77-85, finishing third in the Central Division.
Go Tigers.
16 games back in the division from the White Sox and 15 games back in the AL wild card. It was a pleasant surprise, mainly because it felt like, they won games like on the backs of the young players, And then they lost games because they just didn't have depth. They didn't have the leaders. They didn't have the veterans to kind of help the young guys going through the dog days of summer, if you will. I got to clear my throat again, man.
Yeah,
This is getting bad, huh?
Yeah.
Just jump in if you can.
Well, I think what you said earlier with the Tigers finishing 77-85, to keep that in perspective, if 4 games would have finished differently, and you can think about 4 games through the season and how many games they lost late, they could have won based on just random things that happened. They're 4 games different away from being 500. 81-81. Now, that is not too many games away from competing for playoffs late in the year.
That's true, yeah.
And you look at some of these like WAR stats, even though I literally hate the WAR stat.
You hate the WAR stat?
I think it's a good benchmark stat, I guess, but it's not a be-all, end-all. It does not actually mean wins. But anyways, some of those WAR guys that are out there in free agency are 5+ wins. We're talking like 2 signings away from competing for playoffs and being a 90-win team. Like, sign me up. Yeah, and we're only getting better with rookies, second-year, third-year guys getting better as they mature. Tigers, like, this was such an exciting year to see, and it's exactly going into the year when we were previewing this team, we needed all of the guys that you didn't know about to step up and turn into something, and we saw that.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And now it is time. It's time to spend money. It's time to make moves for multiple reasons. And the Tigers are part of so many rumors going on. I mean,
I love it.
So, but before we get into rumors, let's talk about the moves that they already made. On November 3rd, the Tigers acquired Cincinnati Reds catcher Tucker Barnhart in exchange for the Tigers' infield prospect Nick Quintana. The Tigers will pick up Barnhart's $7.5 million team option, meaning the 30-year-old 2-time Gold Glove winner will be a Detroit Tiger in 2020. However, the Tigers aren't ruling out a possibility of a contract extension. What do you think about Barnhart?
I think Barnhart's perfect for this rebuild, this quote-unquote rebuild at this point. He's a right-handed, decent hitting catcher, or I'm sorry, a left-handed, decent hitting catcher that is very, very good defensively. Like, he's really good defensively. He works really well with
to win Gold Gloves as a catcher.
Yeah,
I mean that's impressive.
I mean he's throwing 30 to 40% of runners out based on the year. Some years 45, some years 36. Either way, that is an elite rate for any kind of catcher.
And the key for the Tigers here is Jake Rogers is out for all of
that's key
for the rest of the season. He came in and showed a ton. Like,
yeah,
his bat it showed enough, I thought, but his defense was up there. And it sounds like Barnhart is a perfect replacement for not having Rogers this upcoming season.
But probably more reliable as a hitter, just a kind of a normal average big league hitter. But also from the left side, so this complements Eric Haas from the right side really, really well. We can go the righty-lefty based on matchups from the catcher position. That is great. That's a great option to have, and then you can also do offense-defense type of thing based on the matchup as well, with him as the defensive specialist. That gives you some offense compared to Eric Haas, which gives you the risk or the pop, potential from the right side with the home run power, but maybe not quite as good a defense.
And as a 2-time Gold Glove winner, 30 years old, he's been around, he's good. Seems like he's like, I mean, Haas is what he is, right? But it was still his first full season in the MLB. So what you're bringing in is a veteran catcher to kind of run this young staff. That's very important. It'll be interesting to see how and when they kind of mix and match, because it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but each pitcher kind of ends up getting their own catcher to an extent, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
And he seems like that he's going to get the majority of the starts, right? Over Eric Haas, unless Eric Haas, I mean, you can find your way to get Eric Haas in the lineup with his bat and stuff, but
yeah. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a timeshare. I think it's going to be something where they try to keep both guys fresh. It's a long season. If anything happens to one catcher, you don't want him burned out because you played him 75% of the games early on. Yeah, it's really going to be matchup dependent. it's going to be starting pitcher dependent. If Casey Mize loves pitching to this guy,
and you throw him in.
He's the catcher. Yeah, he's the catcher.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, screw you, 3, 4, 5 guys in the rotation. You're throwing to somebody else because this is Casey Mize's guy and he needs some rest.
I think the most important thing is this was a massive hole with Jake Rogers' injury, and they went out and put a check mark in it.
Yeah.
And it was done. You wash your hands. You're good with it. I think, what was that, 2 days after the World Series? Maybe 1 day after the World Series?
I think it was the day after.
That was quick.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
They got
that's
their guy.
Really exciting.
And that makes Barnhart feel really good about this too, because this team was looking at him. They want him. They keyed in on him, and he's thinking, man, these guys love me.
Yeah,
I'm exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Game, it's a marriage at that point.
For sure. No, it's exciting. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. Obviously, it's
also
health and a lot of stuff.
There was an end of season interview with between I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks. Avila and Coach Hinch. So Avila and Hinch were talking at the end of the year, and catcher was one of the issues. They were like, well, with Rogers' injury, we got to address the catcher position.
Yeah, Griner wasn't going to fill that.
Yeah.
As much as, he was what he was.
He is what he
season,
is.
But
yeah, he's a fill-in.
Yeah.
He's a fill-in at this point. But then they also mentioned a few other positions. They're like, obviously, shortstop's a big position for us to fill. We're going to consider all options. We have some internal candidates, but we also have plenty of external candidates to consider. We're gonna look around, and then they get into like starting pitchers. He just said, what most people aren't talking about is, I think we have, and this is Al Avila talking, I think we have a gap at the starting pitcher position. We need to fill a need there, and we saw it with all of the injuries that we had during the season. And I said that going in, like, you have to expect your starting pitchers to get injured, but that was a need that Al Avila identified immediately after the season. Like, look, we need another reliable veteran arm in this rotation to solidify something, to bring extra to our team.
So that brings out, what was it, the 15th? So was that Monday? Or was that, I guess it doesn't matter. What's the date today? It was Monday, yeah. The Tigers signed left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez to a 5-year, $77 million contract. He can opt out after the second year, has a no-trade clause. He's 28, has pitched 6 seasons for the Boston Red Sox after making his MLB debut in 2015. He has a career 4.16 ERA. He pitched 32 games, 31 starts in 2021, posting a 4.74 ERA, 47 walks, and 185 strikeouts. He has a close relationship with the Tigers' assistant pitching coach, Juan Nieves, who was Boston's pitching coach during spring training in 2015. He finished 6th in the American League Cy. Sorry, I'm just going to get all the information and let you kind of go. American League Cy Young voting in 2019. That year, he made a career-high 34 starts and logged a 3.81 ERA with 75 walks, 213 strikeouts over 203 and a third inning. What do you expect from this guy?
I love this signing so much.
Yeah.
I just think it's perfect for what the Tigers are trying to do. It's another left-handed pitcher that has a great arm. Like, he's a big-time arm. For a lefty, if he was throwing it from the right side, you'd be like, that's a good arm, but it's not elite. From the left side, that's pretty elite stuff. And I've always kind of been jealous of the Red Sox with him in their rotation, because he is just this rock solid guy. And to be 6th in Cy Young in 2019, 34 starts, 3.81 ERA, 75 walks, 213 strikeouts over 203 innings. That's over a strikeout in inning guy, where that's just logging those innings, keeping your bullpen fresh. Also just seeing the highest level of competition in the playoffs and World Series. Like, I mean, what else can you ask to add to your team? And what is he, like 28 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's 30. He's 30-year-old, I think.
I don't think so. I think he's
younger.
I'm
sorry,
than
that. That was the
catcher. Yeah, sorry. I think so. Eduardo Rodriguez,
28. Yep.
Yeah, so 28 years old. You could argue he's coming into his prime. Like, he could turn into something even more than he is right now. And to get a guy that, we're signing him from age 28 to 33 with his 5-year contract, doesn't get any better than that.
Yep.
And a left-handed pitcher that has pretty elite or maybe like if you're going to notch something down from elite stuff from the left side, that's where he lives. But more than that, more than all of that, he is a consistent pitcher that you can rely on, that's been healthy for a long time, who can strike people out, is a low walk guy. He's a perfect template for these young pitchers to come in and understand how a professional works in the game of baseball over a long season.
He's a good pitcher. He's proven that he can pitch in this league. And that's the key is like you have extremely good pitchers, you have guys that can pitch in this league, and then it just falls off very quickly.
Yeah.
He has proven that he can pitch. And look, the AL East is a tough division.
Oh,
right?
and he's pitching
and
in
he's
Fenway.
pitching well. Pitching at Fenway. Not a pitcher-friendly
No,
ballpark.
no,
If
that's tough, man.
That is very tough. He's going into a pitcher-friendly ballpark with probably a better defense than he's been dealing with. And I think his numbers will only get better at Comerica Park. And I think that's huge.
And again, he's
think
28. He's growing from. What is he? A 5-year vet at this point? He's 28 years old. He came up young, and and with the Red Sox, that means he's been pitching big games for a long time against big time competition, against big time rivalries. Spotlight on you. The whole city's waiting and watching to see what you do, and he's put up numbers at this point.
He's pitched 6 seasons. So another thing about him, so he did get COVID. He got myocarditis or something like that, the heart thing
condition,
that people can get.
Yep.
So that's something to be aware of if you want to. I guess I'm not going to be too worried about it.
He's got a lot of time.
But I just think this is such a quietly good signing.
I agree.
$77 million sounds like a lot. What do you think about the no trade clause? That's interesting to me. Like, I get no trade clauses can be waived, and he can pick where he goes, and all of that can be taken care of. Little weird.
You know what that did was brought the number down. So
Okay.
you're talking about a 70. What he was looking for is guaranteed money.
Okay.
And this is before the lockout that's about to happen.
That's not. Yeah.
We can get into that if we want to or not. But
I think we should at the end here.
They signed him early for a purpose. He was looking at them for a purpose. I think this is going to be before. Basically, this is setting the stage for all of the free agent starting pitchers. And that's a great spot for the Tigers to be in because people are going to be basing these numbers off of him, and it's only going to get more expensive from here.
So MLB had the top free agent pitchers. So you had Max Scherzer at number 1, Kevin Gausman at number 2, Carlos Rodon at number 3, Clayton Kershaw at number 4, Eduardo Rodriguez number 5.
That sounds.
And that number, like when you're saying a top 5 free agent in this free agent class, like those are some big names in
big time names.
Big names.
Kershaw, Scherzer, and your top 5, and the youngest out of all that entire group. You're the young one in that group that's putting up similar numbers or comparable numbers, and they signed him to less than $20 million a year for an extended period of time. I'm telling you, if he does not get hurt, if he can stay healthy through this time period, 4th and 5th year on this contract is going to look so cheap.
Yeah. No, and you're going to be getting ready to sign your other guys too, and it's going to be I think this is a very good signing. Look, everything could hit the fan. He could get hurt, and it looked like a big waste of time for this year. But
if we had Matthew Boyd for the entire year this last year, do we think that might have put us over 500?
I think so.
It definitely could have.
I like Matt Boyd. This is a Matt Boyd replacement, and it's an upgrade.
Massive
upgrade.
Matthew Boyd equivalent to much better upgrade. Yes, this is something that exactly we're bringing this on. So this is just another life insurance policy for this starting pitcher group, and starting pitching does not let's understand the impact that starting pitching has.
It's huge. Go back to when the Tigers were contending. It was all about this rotation.
That's exactly what it. If you can have an ERA in the starting pitcher group and that logs innings, if it's anywhere around 4, you're going to be a good team.
Yep.
Anywhere around 4, you're going to be a really good team. And this is a guy that's less than 4 some years, just barely above 4 some other years. But yeah, I probably said it a little bit too much. I love the signing. I think it's great. I think it's one step in the direction with the young guys that are coming up to say, like, this is the start of a nucleus at this point. Yeah,
so do you think this closes the door on Verlander?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're one and done.
What do you think about Verlander? Would you accept him back at this point? Or is it more about the right money? Or like
if he's healthy, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the crowd that it would bring to a Comerica Park? If he pitched opening day.
Do you want him to?
I would love that. I would love that. Are you
Really?
kidding me? He has pitched so many opening days. He sets a record for opening days at Comerica. Like, that would be...
It'd be cool.
What a moment that would be. That would be insane. Yeah, I'd be in favor of Scherzer coming
I feel
back.
like... And
I'd be
I
in
think
favor
you've got to
of
sign
Verlander.
another pitcher, right? We're right here. So we got Manning, Skubal, Mize. Now we got Rodriguez. Do you want to get to 6? You got to find that 6th guy. Willie Peralta, do you want to bring him back? I like what he did. I would be okay with that.
Yeah,
right
I would
price.
love to bring him back. Yeah.
I mean, are there other names out there that you want to take,
Yeah, Matthew Boyd, Spencer Turnbull.
Well, Turnbull's out for this year,
Yeah, no,
and
or at least
I
halfway.
think Boyd is going to be a free agent. I'm not sure how that's going down, but
Yeah, I know it's kind of a weird situation with
Fulmer too. Though maybe he gets back into the potential of a starter.
he wants to.
I think he does,
But
and if he
been-
wants to, he's going to work towards it.
Yeah, but he was so good though.
He was great. Oh no, I would rather keep him in the bullpen. I think he makes our bullpen that much better.
But the point is, yes, I think they need one more arm, and it's not even necessarily a big name or anything. If it is a big name, great. That makes Manning your next guy in. You know, like if you have Manning who's hungry for a bunch and saying, "This isn't fair. I want to be a starting pitcher." Great, make him mad. Go prove it.
Yeah.
You know, like the next injury he's in, and he's going to try to stay up for good. That's the situation you want to be in. You want to be competing for that 5th spot.
Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't have to be through free agency either. There's a couple arms. I mean, if Faedo can get stuff figured out, you got to bring him up at some point to see if he can figure it out. Joey Wentz
Yeah.
coming up there too. There's
Both coming off of injuries. But
and
yeah.
like Jackson Jobe, he's not going to be on this team yet.
Not yet.
But I mean, it's like you have more there too. It doesn't have to be through free agency, but you got to find one or maybe even 2 more starters to kind of fit this rotation and round it off and give these guys a little less pressure. I think it is a fair way to say it.
Yeah.
With the young players.
It's just depth. Depth is so important in baseball. I mean, Dodgers have 8 people deep.
Yeah, right. So the rumors have been everywhere. I mean, heading into the season, I think we talked about the we're not going to spend like drunken sailor type stuff that Avila said. I don't think this Rodriguez signing is drunken sailor money. I'm a little nervous that it's going to be like, well, we couldn't afford a shortstop because we signed a pitcher instead. Do you think that's going to be the case, or do you think that this is the first 2 moves, and then the next one is the big one and the shortstop? Is that what you think's coming, or what are you feeling about this?
I think they're going to wait for the right contract for the right person.
So you don't think it's all about getting the right name or the big name? It's about getting the right person.
Yeah, I think it's their scouting department saying long term, this is what we project. This is the kind of money based on the salary cap. This is what the flexibility would be on year 8 of the contract. You know, like that. I really believe they're going to be going through their due diligence and understanding the kind of impact this could have, because the biggest responsibility of Al Avila at this point is to not jump into contracts that jeopardize the future of this franchise. And Eduardo Rodriguez did not do anything even close to jeopardizing the future. This only helps it because of how cheap it was and because it was the perfect time period, 5 years from age 28 to 33.
Yep.
And all of that was considered. And they went to him, and I guarantee you they said, look, we don't know what's going on with the next contract with the MLBPA. Jump on this early. We'll start it off. We'll take care of you. It's all guaranteed. Even though a trade clause, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
And he
And
jumped
if it's
on it.
unfair, you can opt out after 2 years. And
There you
get
go.
a new contract.
Exactly. Like they're making it
When you're 30.
all worth. Yeah, they're throwing all these incentives in place. They're going to do something similar for the shortstop position. I know they're going to be looking. They're not going to spend $400 million, $450 million on Carlos Correa.
Sounds like 300 is the number.
In long term, I don't know if that's a bad deal or not.
It's
what
hard
is
to
he?
say, right?
26 years old?
27.
He just turned 27 then.
Yeah, he must have. Yeah.
He just turned 27 years old, and I don't even want a 10-year contract, but that's ages 27 to 37. That could potentially be his elite years. And there's nothing to say that a guy like that is going to slow down at all. Like, his swing is compact. He's pretty good with off speed. Do I think he's the best shortstop in baseball? No, I really don't.
No,
but the best shortstop in baseball would require $500 million at this point.
What did the guy he used to play for the Indians?
We'll see.
He's not a free agent though, is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
I think so.
No, he signed a big deal.
With the Mets?
I thought he did. I could be wrong.
We could look it up. You want me to look it up?
Yeah, go
What's his
for it.
name?
One, I can't think of it. He might still be on the Indians. I don't know.
No, he's on the Mets.
Sorry, the Guardians. The Guardians. I should get used to that. One thing I want to talk about is the shortstop. Obviously, it's a big name. It feels like the I don't want to say only hole.
Francisco Lindor?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
I don't think it's the only hole because I think we got to get some depth here. But it feels like the biggest hole at shortstop here. The four names that everybody's talking about: Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, Corey Seager, and Javi Baez. I personally don't want anything to do with Javi Baez or Trevor Story.
Agreed.
Personally, let's say we're talking big money here. I mean, if you can get them at a discount, obviously you take it. But those are the two that are I'm not sold on. But then the drop off is pretty big after that. And that's where it's really interesting. So let's say Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, those are the two that's huge because this is what we're seeing after those four are out of the picture. Jose Iglesias is number 5.
Wow.
Like, that is eye-opening.
Wait, what about the Toronto? Oh, he's considered a second baseman. Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah,
Marcus Semien.
Yeah. I wouldn't hate him.
I'd love him. Yeah.
I guess he should probably be on because he could play short.
He played short his entire career until last year. He was on the stacked Blue Jays team and played second.
So the 10th best shortstop on this list.
Who?
Andrew Romine.
Oh my gosh.
And as soon as I saw that name, I was like, holy smokes, we got to get one of these top guys.
Well, and that's the thing. We've got how many shortstops in the system? Probably 6 shortstops in the system better than Andrew Romine.
Yeah.
But all of them worse than the top 4.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So really all of them probably better or equal to Jose Iglesias. It's not like he's going to come in at number 5 and
Iglesias'
make us
problem
great.
was the bat.
Yeah.
Right?
But it still is.
Yeah. He's not making our lineup any deeper, and we need that.
Yeah.
As much as we need a defensive shortstop, which Correa is, we need a bat, a threat, a 280 hitter that's going to lead this team on both sides of the field. You know what I mean? Like, if it's all about the glove, all right, yeah, let's just stick with Zach Short and call it a day.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Iglesias is.
Also,
right?
Francisco Lindor, 10 years, $341 million with a $50 million deferred part of the contract, which means they're just paying him $5 or $5 million a year throughout the contract.
Oh my gosh!
So really, it says 341. That's probably against the salary cap.
Okay.
In reality, it's $391 million over the next 10 years. So are we willing to invest in Carlos Correa or are you? For a 260 to 280 hitter in 26 to 30 bombs?
The one side of me says it's not my money. It doesn't affect me. There's no salary cap. Like, just spend like a drunken sailor. I don't give a crap. It's not my money. Yeah, go spend and get Carlos Correa. But when you're comparing what Carlos Correa is compared to Francisco Lindor, I think
at least the market is not saying he's better.
I think Carlos Correa is being overvalued at that point.
Potentially.
Because his injury, he's been injury prone. He doesn't have he doesn't have crazy pop. He doesn't have crazy batting average. He's just good. He's a good hitter and he's really good defensively.
You know what
That's
this does?
what he is.
You know what this does though? If let's just say I want to just throw out the opportunity. If Carlos Correa is a Tiger and we sign him, what this does is third base becomes potentially even Spencer Torkelson
No.
next year, or maybe first base next year. He's coming up next year, I'm telling you. He's coming up next year. He hit 30 bombs and hit 280 with the 400 on base. Like, the dude is legit. So let's just say Spencer Torkelson comes up next year like we expect him to. He's going to fill third base or first base. What this does with shortstop is now you have one of the elite shortstops in the game. And maybe not the best, maybe not even top 5, but you have one of the top 7 best shortstops in the game with Corey Seager or with Carlos Correa. Then you look at third base, first base, you got your young stud. Then you also have Jonathan Scope, and Yammer Candelario, who's like, I would say they're both pretty average, but kind of gamers.
But I think that they would be very good as the 6, 7, 8 hitter.
There you go. That's what I'm getting at. And then what are you doing? Now you have Willie Castro, you have Harold Castro, you have Nico Grisham, who I think is out of the picture at that point. But you have Jonathan Scope, Harold Castro, and Willie Castro battling over second base.
I'm all right with that.
With all your young prospects that are coming up at the same time. Like, that's filled out your infield, and we've thrown away Candelario, potentially.
Yeah.
You've filled out your infield and upgraded it massively at the most important positions on the infield. What makes the Astros so good? What makes the Astros so good every single year is their infield. You have Bregman locking down third base. You have your shortstop and second base combo is 2 of the best in baseball. And then you just throw in some decent, talented outfielders, and every single time you're good.
Yeah. One thing that I think that people aren't talking about with the Correa connection, and this is where I kind of want to wrap up the Correa side, and we can talk a little bit more about what we want to. I'll let you put a bow on the Tigers talk here. But one thing so everybody's talked about the connection with AJ Hinch, right? And how that gives the Tigers an advantage to sign a guy like Correa. What more importantly this does for me is it's like, who knows best if Correa's worth $300 million? Who knows best what Correa is to a lineup in a defense inside the clubhouse? Is AJ Hinch. And if Alavila and Illich, and this is just a hope, is like, you better be relying on AJ Hinch and be like, is it worth it? Like, be honest here, and let's talk about, like, how important is the shortstop position, first of all? How important is is this type of player to a lineup in where we're at in the scenario? Because, look, AJ Hinch was also part of Correa coming up through it, right? And that's a little different than what he's going to be coming into to be that leader. But, like, AJ Hinch knows what he's worth. And if the Tigers go out and spend $300 million tomorrow morning, which I'm sure they're going to do as soon as we get off the air like they always do, big breaking news is going to happen. But, like, if they do it, I'm all behind it. If they say it's not worth it and they decide not to overspend, quote-unquote overspend on a guy like Correa, I'm going to support that too. I don't think a shortstop is the be-all, end-all heading into the season in the development of this team. But what I'm hoping and just freaking better be happening is you guys are giving, and I'm saying you guys as Avila and Illich better be saying, Hinch, you tell us what he's worth. You tell us what you want us to do here, because Hinch has an opt-out after this season. And if the Tigers aren't trusting Hinch to make these type of decisions and just going balls to the wall, all in, if he's willing to, and saying that he's worth it, or whoever it is, like, he's going to walk. He's going to be like, see ya. Like, I don't trust you guys. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth, which is my biggest concern with the Tigers, is saying, yeah, or we're not going to spend a lot of money. Oh, we're going to spend a lot of money. We're going to do, like... You
were talking on both sides of your mouth.
I did that, yeah, for the people that aren't watching live. But it's just like...
It's impressive.
You have everything in front of you. You have one of the best managers in the game, if not the best manager in the game, proven last year. If you're not trusting him to just say, you tell us what to do, then see ya. Like, he's going to walk, and we're done. We're starting from square one. So, in a lot of ways.
This is my impression after the end-of-year press conference. I brought that up on purpose.
Yeah, yep.
It was very important to me because I saw the dynamic between Al Avila and AJ Hinch. Avila, I will give him credit for this, and this alone, really, is, one, he's drafted pretty good, but more than that, he clearly has given his group, his coaches around him, his scouts around him, the freedom to actually make real decisions. And he trusts them, because I don't think he trusts himself. I don't think he's that hard of a worker. I don't think he's that.
You're talking about Avila?
Yeah, I don't think Avila really dives in
I'm
that
the face.
deep.
I'm the face. I'm gonna put a little people around me.
I really believe that he trusts his scouts 100%. Why? He came from being a scout. So he's saying these guys dove in. I'm going to trust their expertise. They actually had power to draft the people they wanted. The scouts did. The scouting director had the power to draft his people. Yes. So Avila trusted him in that 100%. That tells me that Avila understands where he belongs and where he doesn't belong. And in the press conference, I saw the same thing with AJ Hinch. Hinch was answering all the questions about development, about playing time, about bringing in pitchers and how they reacted in difficult situations, future plans with them. He was talking about all that stuff and way more elegantly than Avila was. I think Avila put AJ Hinch in place to manage and to have control of this team. I think he put his scouts in place because they're elite scouts and they know how to scout and they pick the right people and they develop the right way. I think he has minor league coaches that are in place to develop players the right way. I think Al Avila gets out of his own way, and that's the best thing I can say about him.
Yeah, and another thing, like, to kind of come full circle back to the Lions, it's like they took a massive chance. The ownership and Avila took a massive chance by bringing in AJ Hinch because that's the type of thing that people weren't happy with heading in, and they have been.
Now we love him.
And
I always did.
They've been proven. Yeah, I mean we were all for it. But like that's something that can turn people away. And there's still callers and texters and into sports talk radio stations that are like, oh, I never trust a cheater, blah blah blah. Man, they took a chance, and that's something that the Lions never do. And here we are, like the Tigers have been benefited from it. They literally escalated this rebuild probably full 2 years by hiring the right manager and the right guy for that type of job.
I completely agree with you.
That is something that the Lions ownership does not do. That is something that they don't take chances. And, I mean, hats off to Avila. I think it's more of an ownership decision than a Avila decision. But they went out and did it, and it was awesome. And I hope they find a way to lock this guy up and not let him walk. And you need to prove to him that you're all in right here, right now. And that's why the Tigers are all in right here, right now. And that's why we're talking about Correa. That's why we just signed Rodriguez, the fifth best pitcher according to MLB.com. Like, as a free agent. Like, that's why we're doing these things. And do not let it slip through your fingers. And I'm sitting here right now, I'm saying if they don't overspend or spend on a shortstop, there is a reason, and it is a Hinch reason. And if it's not, he will walk. And that's where we're at right now. Is I think what we're seeing is organization trusting in their manager, trusting in what he's done, trusting in his opinion on all of these players and how you build a contending baseball team, and they're all in, and that's where I think they're at right now. And like I'm saying, there's that opportunity to. I could be saying this the complete opposite next year, because if AJ Hinch decides to opt out and walks, that tells me that they didn't do what I'm saying they're doing right now. And that's why it should be really exciting for a Tigers fan, because, look, I'm not saying they're going to turn the corner and be a contender next year, but taking a step and investing in this team, because Tigers fans show up. When you're investing in it, they're there. And I'm so excited for it. Again, not saying they're going to be true contenders.
They've already shown.
They're stepping. It's a step in the right direction. That's all I want to see.
And they've already started investing, and that's the best part of it. Yeah. I will point out 29th on the starting pitcher list. By the way, the starting pitchers, holy
that
cow.
Is deep.
There are tons
some
of starting
big
pitchers.
Names on there. 25, you said, right?
29.
29?
Yep. Chichi Gonzalez.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Never heard of him.
Oh, okay.
Where is he at?
Formerly known as Alex Gonzalez, Oral Roberts
he changed
alumni.
His name?
Oral Roberts alumni.
Oh, he played against him?
Yeah, I hit a home run off him in 2011 when he was a freshman. I was a senior.
And then he changed his name the day after because a catcher
he
at Oakland University just hit a home run against him.
I know, yeah.
Is that when he changed his name? No, that's good.
I had to do Chichi Gonzalez, guys.
All right,
I want him.
Put a bow on it for us, Ryan, then we can get into our picks if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tigers, they're
Actually,
ready.
we got to talk CBA too. Give us a bow on the Tigers, and then tell us what's going on with the CBA.
I want you to do the CBA because I know the date, I know the deadline or whatever, but I'm not really sure how that really impacts like long term or what the expectations are with that.
Put a bow on Tigers.
Tigers, okay. Tigers took a massive step forward. They went from the first overall pick into the third, fifth overall pick or something.
This
last year was third, I think, with Jackson Jobe.
Yep. Now they're 12th?
And yeah.
10th or 12th. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's a big difference. It's a big step forward. And not only that, we have Casey Mize, we have Terry Scuba, we have Matt Manning. We have these young guys. We have Matthew Boyd hopefully coming back from injury. We had a lot of injuries along the way. We have a lot of pieces in place with this team. And again, when we're talking about going against and getting these guys, this is also with the assumption that the minor league talent that we've invested in, starting pitchers, relief pitchers that are coming up, along with Spencer Torkelson, one of the top prospects in all of baseball, Riley Green, outfielder, one of the top prospects in all of baseball. When we had guys like Akil Baddoo this year come and step up, and then Harold Castro, which we called early on, step up and hit 270, 280, 290, whatever he hit this year. Those are the names that we need to get to know. Those are the names that are going to be the fillers, the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters in this lineup long term, while these young stars are going to be stepping up and filling the gaps. And pretty soon our outfielders are going to be Akil Baddoo plus a couple of all-stars. And then we're going to have an infielder in one of the Castros, Willie or Harold Castro, and then a bunch of all-stars. And that turns into a winning formula. We're not many games away. We're 4 games away from being 500. We're not many games away. We're not much talent away from being a 90-win playoff contending team.
No, that's really exciting, and I hope you're right. I'm not going to overreact if it's not this year, though. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be. If they lose more games than they did this previous season, I don't think we should overreact.
Terry Scuba could take a step back.
Casey Mize could take a step back.
That doesn't change my mind about them. That changes my mind. I think they're going to take a step forward the next year after that. We're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, another key thing that we've kind of touched on a little bit, but the CBA and the lockout. It sounds like it's inevitable that there's going to be a lockout. One thing that I want to keep an eye on with the CBA, and I don't want to get too into it because it gets way messier than I think any of us could really understand in a lot of ways. From what it sounds like is the Players Association is working really hard at getting rid of the service time as the free agency market. For what people so basically for the people that don't understand is like a certain amount of games in the MLB you turn into a basically it's sorry, I just screwed up. No, you're good. Oh boy, I just really screwed this up. Oh boy. Anyways, I'm trying to figure this out. Sorry, there we go. I got it. But anyways, so basically the CBA that we're looking at here is the key part is obviously there's a lot of like cap issues and luxury tax stuff that can play a role. But one thing that the MLBPA is trying to get is the service time. So basically for the people that don't understand is like a certain amount of games in the MLB, you lose service time. That becomes a free agent sooner. So what you've seen, go back to like Chris Bryant with the Cubs, is they held him in the minors for, I want to say it was like, I think it's like the first 30 days of MLB season, and then all of a sudden you have one more year of control. They're trying to get rid of that, and what they're trying to do is make it so it's an age-based thing. And this plays a big role with the Detroit Tigers because everybody's talking about service time when it comes to Torkelson and Green. Do you want to start them in the MLB, or do you want to, let them kind of start in the minors, get that 30-ish days? I don't remember exactly how many days it is, Ryan, but do you want to control that? And if the new CBA, let's get rid of a lockout possibility of no season, because I don't think that's going to happen. There's too much money to lose. But if all of a sudden it becomes an age-based control time and free agent time, that's when you start. All right, yeah, we can start Green in the MLB. We can start Torkelson in the MLB, and that is going to be very interesting to see. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that can happen, but that's the thing that I think is most eye-opening to me because I want to see these guys. I don't want them to worry about service time. I want to see these guys play now because I think they've proven that they can, and I hope that it's just not an excuse. But at the same time, if you can use it as an excuse, do it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like kind of one of those Jekyll and Hyde things. Like, what do I really want? But I don't know. It'll be interesting, and it's going to be long and messy.
It definitely impacts the free agent market, and I think that's why it was important to get into the Eduardo Rodriguez signing early on like we got, and we got rid of our Barnhart signing with the catcher. So we've checked a couple of boxes. There's still some other stuff that they're evaluating, but these early signings were pretty impactful. Tigers are doing it better than any other team at this point.
Yeah, so you left me by myself. Can I leave you by yourself and explain Betting Hero?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me hit a bumper for you. Where's my longest bumper? I don't even...
It's going to be that...
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
All right, so that kind of wraps up the Tigers talk. I want to get into explain betting here at this point before we get into our picks. Guys, bettinghero.com. So there's all kinds of platforms out there from any kind of, like if you go to any podcast at all, they're going to be talking about something, some betting platform out there. Everybody's doing it at this point. There's always promo codes available. The pitch for bettinghero.com is, number one, they work with all of the betting platforms available in your state at the time. So if you live in Michigan, if you live in Florida, if you live in Texas, doesn't matter. They're going to say whatever's legal for you to download. They're going to give you all the options that you have. Then they make the shopping easy. They're going to give you the best promo code for each one of those betting platforms and make it simple. They're going to lay it out for you for each one of those, and you can just do your shopping. That is the point of this. So if you have bettinghero.com, it will give you the DraftKings. It'll give you the some of the others. BetMGM. It gives you all of those, and then it lays it out. It's intended to do the work for you, so you have more time to just spend with your family, more time to watch the games, more time to worry about betting. And so again, bettinghero.com, promo code MIBETS. They'll give you the best promo codes available. You're going to get some free money out of this, like anywhere, but they make it easy for you. So bettinghero.com, promo code MIBETS.
Perfect. That means we're doing our picks.
Let's do it.
Last week, Micah went 5-3. Kyle 4-4. Ryan 2-6, and I went 4-4 as well. As well as Kyle. I should screw that up. Anyways, Micah is still leading the way, 42-35 overall. Kyle's one game back at 41-36. You are a few games back, four back from
that. Hurt. That was a bad week.
37-40, and I'm 36-41. So. Still anybody's game. Things can change quickly, as we normally do, or always do. We're going to start Thursday Night Football. We got the Patriots at the Falcons. Falcons are +6. All right, Ryan, do you want me to tell you their picks?
Yeah, of course. They're not here. They don't deserve to.
Okay. I just didn't want it to affect your pick if you didn't want it to.
Oh, just go ahead.
All right. Both Micah and Kyle.
You cannot impact my pick.
All right.
Doesn't matter what you say.
Both Kyle and Micah are going to take the Patriots.
That impacts.
-6. Where are you going with this one?
Well, no, the Falcons +6.
You're going Falcons +6?
No, I'm just saying Falcons are +6.
Yes,
they
are. Yeah. Did I say it wrong?
No, it's okay. I'm just buying time. I'm going to go Patriots as well on this. They've been looking really good. I've believed in Mac Jones from the beginning. I was a big Mac Jones fan. I said that he was equivalent or better than Trevor Lawrence. People give me crap for that at the time. I'm still owning it to this day. I think he's a real quarterback, and they found something special in him.
All right, I'm going to take the Falcons here, just because a home underdog 6 points is a lot. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm going to go with the 6 points. Close game. Moving down to the Cowboys at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite. Both Micah and Kyle are going to take the Cowboys.
That feels right to take the Cowboys, especially after their dominant win this last week. But the Chiefs also had their dominant win, right?
Seem to figure something out.
Yeah, I don't know. This definitely impacts my choice here. I'm going to go Chiefs. I probably would have gone Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs as well. Next, we got the Lions at the Browns, are a 10-point favorite. Kyle's taking the Lions. Mike is taking the Browns. What are you doing, Ryan?
What do you think about this game?
I have no reason to take the Lions here. No reason. Other than the fact that it's 10 points, and that's a lot of points in the NFL.
Wait, do they still have Jared Goff?
He's still on the team.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go Browns. Browns.
I mean, if he, all right, let's say if he doesn't play,
I would consider it more switching. Yes,
yeah.
This is an easy choice because of Jared Goff for me.
Right here, right now, you got to take the Browns. The Browns. This is they looked awful last week.
They did.
So they went they proved people wrong 2 weeks ago. Then they prove everybody wrong. It's like, yeah, they're all right. They figured it out. Now all of a sudden they suck again.
They looked awful for a lot of reasons.
One of the most frustrating teams to bet. I would never bet on a Browns game.
Well, D'Ernest Johnson, that kind of had a really good game for them. Was their only offensive weapon. Yeah. It's like you can't even blame the loss on not having Nick Chubb because he played great.
That was
put up Chubb numbers.
A bad performance by
Chumbers.
Baker.
He just did, though.
He can't do that to me, and I can't control it.
Browns.
He's taking the Browns. I'm taking the Browns. We're going to move to some college. That's not the right one.
That's the right one.
The college one. There we go. We got SMU at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is minus 12. Kyle's taking SMU. Mike is taking Cincinnati. What are you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, Cincy.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati, too.
I'm not betting against
them.
They
need to put lots of points up.
Yeah.
Because it's all about style points for them.
At this point, absolutely.
they need to do it and do it big.
They've got some big-time athletes. I'm not betting against them.
Yeah.
Ritter. You good? You want me to yell at you yet?
Yeah,
no? Just hit the space bar.
I got to get the space bar, that's different.
Have you done that yet?
No, I don't think it. Yeah, I
gotta show it off at some point.
All right,
Ryan, what's your pick? Space bar.
All right, I'm going to do a space bar next. But I got to figure out why the screens are off. I don't know all that stuff. All right, anyways, we got the Haze and Blue Crushable New England IPA featuring Citra and Mosaic hops and brewed with real blueberries, 5.5% alcohol by volume, 20 IBUs. It's our Haze and Blue pick of the week, courtesy of Big Lake Brewing. They actually just came out with another one. I don't know if you saw it on the Instagram. The Big Haze.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So instead of the big house, it's the Big Haze, and it's a picture of the...
No way.
It looks
Same beer?
Incredible.
Different beer?
It's a truer IPA. It's closer to the Sparty Party, like 7%. I got to get my hands on something.
Yeah, we got to
I was at
find
Siciliano's today, and they didn't have it yet. So
we got to find that one because, man, they do IPAs.
They do some really good IPAs. Anyways, we got the Michigan Wolverines are at Maryland Terrapins. They are plus 14.5. Both Kyle and Mike are taking Michigan. Ryan, you're not going a different direction here, are you?
I'm tempted to. Yeah, I think this is more of a trap game than I'm giving it credit for. No, Michigan's going to take care of business. Their defensive line is going to get after Tua.
That's the biggest thing with me. It's like,
Tunga.
Do I think that Michigan's going to score like an ungodly amount of points and like 40 points? No. But I just don't see Maryland being able to score more than 15.
They'll move the ball.
You know what I mean?
They'll move a ball, but yeah, they're not going to. You're right, yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I got to move. Oh, watch this. Ready? See that? It worked.
What'd you do?
I used the space bar like you asked me to.
Yeah, but what happened? What's the difference?
Nothing. You just asked me to use the space bar.
Yeah, but you're looking at you only, right?
No. Oh. This side is that side's us, or what people are seeing.
Wait, hold on. We gotta spend the next 5 minutes.
You want to talk about it?
Talking about this.
Should I stop the music?
Yeah.
Anyways, we got our Sparty Party pick of the week. It's New England IPA with Mandarina, Bavaria, and Amarillo hops. 7% alcohol by volume, 53 IBUs. It is a true blue IPA.
So Bavaria,
such a great beer.
Where is Bavaria? Do you know where that is?
No.
Oh, that was good. pretty sure that's in Germany, right? With a specific location within Germany.
Hey Siri, where's Bavaria?
Just gonna answer.
Oh, it said Siri.
Anyways.
Bavaria is in Salina,
Selena, what?
Kansas. No, that can't be right.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Either way, great beer. The Sparty Party, seriously, great beer. Any
Great
of the
beer.
Michigan State fans out there, please go get yourself this. You're gonna like. First of all, you're gonna look good with the Sparty Party on there, but second, you're gonna fall in love with this beer because it is
a great beer.
It's awesome.
It is one of my favorite beers. Michigan State is at Ohio State. Ohio State, a 19-point favorite.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, that's a lot of points. A lot of points.
I'm guessing Kyle's taking Sparty.
Both Kyle and Mike are taking Sparty.
Oh,
So Mike
man.
actually texted me this. He goes, "Are you getting back into sports gambling?" I'm taking a little hiatus. Like thinking Michigan State is like easy money. I ain't touching this game. Like personally, betting on, I would never bet on this game.
I agree with you. I think
This game is scary.
it's going to be like you could predict that Michigan State was going to be close because of the differences in them.
I said it was gonna be a blowout.
Yeah, you did. But Ohio State, though, man, they could blow Sparty out.
They could,
They could.
especially the way the pass defense. Should I get the music going? We can. Yeah,
One-
I'd probably,
One more time, yeah.
I'll cut it if I have to.
Okay.
But no,
They
I
could
mean,
blow them out.
Yeah, they could.
And this game could be out of hand by the second quarter. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think Sparty's going to put up a really good fight because I think they're a really good team. I believe in them.
I agree.
I really just think Ohio State has that crazy potential that I'm scared of. I'm going to stay away from it too. I'm going to go Ohio State on this not because I think Michigan State's going to lose by that much, but because I want to make up some ground.
I think both reasons. Like I think Ohio State's gonna blow out Michigan State. I think Ohio State's gonna blow out Michigan at this point. I really do. So I'm taking Ohio State as well. Look,
They're
it's
good.
nothing.
They're really good.
They're a lot better than people I realize they are. They're the quietest, great team I've ever seen.
I know.
I-
Well, CJ Stroud is amazing, and they didn't know that until week 4,
Yeah,
right? And once they figured that out, it's like, oh, they are really good.
yeah, and I'm taking Ohio State. I don't know. I hate doing it. But
I do too. I hate
I
them.
did. Anyways, I did want to give
We
a.
missed Oregon and Utah. Did you do that one? I don't remember that one.
Oh no, I think I think I did forget that one.
Did you skip that?
I must have. I didn't write down what you took. So
Yeah.
my apologies on that one. We got Oregon at Utah.
Oregon.
That's kind of
Oregon. Not Oregon, but Oregon.
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, you're a Michigander if you're going to say Oregon.
All right. Anyways, Oregon at Utah -3. That is the strangest one
Yeah.
out of all of them.
Yeah, I'm taking-
How did I do that? How did I skip that?
I don't know, but I'm taking Oregon easy. Like, lock it in. This is one that I'm probably going to sign up on 4 platforms for and put
Just
some money on.
Yeah, Oregon. So Kyle took Oregon. Micah took Utah.
Ooh. Wow. Bold.
I think that's just a hope more than anything.
Yeah. He's trying to buy it on, get a game on everybody else.
Well, no, I mean, like, he just hopes Oregon falls and gets
Oh,
their second,
got it.
second
All right.
loss.
Understood.
Is my guess. But I'm going to take Oregon. I just don't understand. That is the weirdest spread. Again, I wouldn't touch that game either, personally.
I might.
You, yeah?
Might
When
touch it a
that
lot.
happen, when this type of spread happens, I feel like something is happening behind the scenes that nobody knows, and that's scary. Especially if it stays there. If it stays at -3, look out, because that's I don't know. That's weird to me. Really weird.
Might throw a bunch.
It's not
of
like
money on
Utah's like a tough place to go and play. Like it's
this. Yeah, when do they play? Because I might spend hundreds of dollars on this.
really
game. Maybe. We'll see.
bettinghero.com
Promo code.
and my bets. All right, that's enough. That's enough of the betting. What do we got to do? Beer grade?
I think so.
Jump the volume up.
Are we 3 hours in yet? How do we always...
We just hit 2 hours.
But before we do, I want to once again remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They're simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State University's main campus in downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or you need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for that. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beers from across our great nation, they're individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. Along with their great selection of craft beer, they have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. They also have the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that we sent you.
Ryan, what are you drinking?
What? Oh, okay. I am drinking Blueberry Cream Ale from Cheboygan Brewing Company. This is fresh from northern Michigan. That's what they claim. 5.6% alcohol by volume, 14 IBUs, a light-bodied ale brewed with lactose sugar and fermented over blueberries. Fresh fruit aroma bursts from this deliciously creamy brew. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't taste a lot of blueberry, but I think it helps with the contrast with the sweetness that the blueberries bring versus the I don't know, the lactose, I guess, or helps with that, I guess, to counteract all the bitterness from the beer. And man, this is a really good beer. Like, this surprised me. I started drinking it and it was good, but the more you drink it, the better it is. And I think that creamy ale just like brings you back for more. Like, it's such a comfortable flavor that you just want to keep drinking more and more of it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just putting myself in a scenario, going down an aisle and seeing this label with the sales on Lake Michigan.
Show
obviously,
everybody the label.
I don't know
This
where.
one right here.
This one?
Yeah. No, that
Dude,
one.
they can't see that.
That one right there. No, they can't. Oh,
No.
oh shoot! I just moved to me. Give me the grade. Hurry up.
Anyways.
the space bar. Stupid space.
Anyways, this would stand out to me, and I would just think about how good this was long term, like three beers in, and I would definitely get it. I would 100% buy this beer again. I'm gonna go 8.3. It was just such a smooth, easy drinking type of beer. It did not explode one way or another. It was just really good.
What was your score? Sorry.
8.3.
Very, very good score.
It's like it's my kind of
That's kind of your
like if I
zone.
have a great beer that I just really love, I'm gonna go an 8.3 almost always. If it's amazing, I'm gonna just jump to 9s. Like,
yeah.
There's no in between.
All right, I'm drinking All Seasons Ale. It's a easy drinking beer that is never out of season. It is from City Brewing Company in Bay City, Michigan. Look at for the people. I don't know if people can see it. It's hard to see with this lighting.
Bay City's just left and up of the thumb.
Up and left. Oh, Pepper's taking down the background.
Uh-oh.
Here. Oh boy, Pepper, stop. Pepper. Oh my gosh! You can't believe you did that.
It's only on you.
My stinking
We've
cat.
saved it. We've saved
All
it.
right.
So
Anyways,
far.
I'm just gonna
Go
try
for
to
it.
end this quick. I'm gonna give it a 7-8. It's a good beer. Easy to drink beer, but that's just stinking Pepper. What a stinking cat. That darn cat. Can't live with him. Can't live without him. Anyways, that was my grade. I would like give it a 7.8. Yeah, I did. I'm just gonna keep it on me all the day. That was episode 131. Thank you for recording, Ryan.
Oh yeah, you bet. Pepper's just.
Thank you all for
attacking my
watching
foot.
live. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
Peace, everybody.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.